aller viktigste med drifting, det dekka. Det eneste vi har som binder bilen til asfalten. Og akkurat som i all annen racing, så dekka det som avgjør en seier eller en fiasko. Så da vi gikk til Kenda i år, så var det etter flere år med undersøkelser, med tester, med en vurdering av ikke bare hvor Kenda var da, men hvor de på vei. Det har spilt seg ut ganske bra, kan du si, hittil i sesongen.
Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple back.
King of legacy, too ruthless, too transcend.
Diving to me is like a sense of freedom. Nobody forces me, nobody pushing me. I choose to do it.
My grandfather would refer to it as like the last place that God made it. As far west as you can go in the country. The last sunset in Europe in the millennium was over Jersey Island, you know. What better view can you ask for?
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and you're very welcome back to IDS Round 4 here at Kart World Adventure Park in Watergrasshill, County Cork. Once again, my name is Mike Fitz and I'm joined here to my right hand side by current Drift Masters European driver Alan Hines and a 2024 Irish champion as well, of course. So we are ready to rock, guys, for battle action. If you did join us for qualifying, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did in a crazy qualifying session which saw wet go to dry, go back to wet conditions. And I think it's going to be the story of the afternoon here, Alan. The conditions here are super changeable in Watergrasshill, and we have a tight technical and really, really devious layout of a track for this round here at round 4. And not only that, but the conditions are changeable from minute to minute here, Alan Hines, and it's going to be crazy stuff for the battles.
Certainly so, yeah, as we've seen already, some incredible driving so far in qualifying, a wet and a dry session for some drivers, and yeah, you know what, it was an incredible session indeed. It was Dylan Garvey and Chris Jack obviously fighting for the championship hunt, not getting the top two steps in the qualifying proceedings at least, but certainly getting themselves into the show, getting themselves into that top 16, top 24 format here once again, so we will explain that a little bit later on. But yeah, incredible driving so far, and yeah, wait to see a little bit more.
Absolutely. Well, Jack Caldwell taking top position in qualifying with a crazy score of 97.7, I believe, 97.4, something like that. In the 97s anyway, in wet conditions, guys. So mad stuff there from young Jack Caldwell. But as Alan mentioned, we are ready to rock for top 24 action here at IDS round 4. Using a top 24 layout for, you know, the first time this season. Of course, the top 8 qualifiers going straight into the top 16 battle bracket, but then our lower 16 qualifiers, so basically the people who qualified from 9th up to 24th position will now battle it out right now here on track in front of us in order to gain those last 8 positions in the top 16. So yeah, basically guys, from 1st to 8th, they're already in the top 16. We're not going to see them until the top 16 a little bit later on, but right now we are in the top 24 battle bracket. So it is, you know, it is just one of those things where we qualify them off, Alan, and we have to battle them out, and the top 8 from these battles, then the 8 winners will go through to the top 16. So just as we get our level sorted here and our track live audio sorted, we will be ready to rock here for our first battle of the top 24 action here, guys, where again our lower 16 drivers from qualifying will battle it out for those places in the top 16, and you can see the wipers on there on the cars, and the rain is starting to come down here once again, and Cathal O'Grady sits on the line versus Leon Lynch here for a place in the top 16. And we are ready to rock almost to send the cars once Kieran Hines, our head judge, is in position. Of course, he is residing over proceedings today, as always, in the Irish Drift Series, and he is joined on his left-hand side by Mr. Tom Murphy and young Conor Falvey, current Drift Masters driver, who sits in 6th in that championship, currently doing some judging this weekend. So, guys, if you have joined us here in Watergrasshill in the flesh, thank you very much. And if you are joining us on live stream also, thank you very much. You are in for quite the afternoon of entertainment here, because the conditions are crazy, the track layout is crazy, and it is about to throw up lots of entertainment as we're ready to rock here for top 24 action at IDS round 4 2026. And Cathal O'Grady up from Pro 2 yesterday. The rookie driver leaves the line against the much more experienced Leon Lynch, but which one of them will be taking a spot in the top 16? It's a big entry from Grady, but instantly Alan Hines, the conditions catching the Galway man out. He reinitiates and throws it off track. Leon Lynch does the overtake, and Alan Hines, the conditions instantly throwing up drama.
Instantly throwing up drama is right. Like, as we've seen at the end of qualifying, it was still wet. We didn't get much time to dry out the track. There was another shower of rain in between that break. As you see Leon Lynch here finishing off the run here, as Cathal O'Grady did obviously put 4 wheels off track. That will be incomplete / is 0 there for Cathal O'Grady, and you know what, not a bad start for the weekend for Cathal O'Grady. Obviously getting through to you know, the pro competition today, but the rookie driver certainly making that major mistake on initiation, Mike. And the thing is here, you know, being the very first car out after all those conditions changes, you don't know, is it really drier or wetter or what? And yeah, I think he made a little mistake there. I mean, it's been unfortunate there for him, but I think Leon Lynch doing what pro drivers do best and adapting to that of what Cathal O'Grady gave to him, and yeah, just drove past around him once he shut it down and finished off the run cleanly like he should.
Well, we can see the hardest conditions of all to drift in here. Tire smoke in places and not in others, as we can see here on the replay. Cathal O'Grady there maybe throwing it in as, you know, thinking it might be a dry line, but
certainly, yeah,
the wipers there on the windscreen were the giveaway that the adhesion on this track, you know, might not have been what he had there in qualifying earlier on, for the dry runs of qualifying at least, and a big mistake there from the Galway men. Again, it's a big ask, Alan, for drivers to step up into pro competition, and he might have been thinking that he has one chance here to take it away. He's going to fire it in, max attack, and it didn't work out for the Galway men, as Leon Lynch now leads us in. And Cahill O'Grady actually, interestingly, slightly higher qualifier, who qualified in 16th, and Leon Lynch fires it in again and starts to open up the gap now with those semi-slick rear tyres. As you mentioned, I think O'Grady sticking with the road tyres up from Pro 2 action yesterday, so definitely a lack of grip here for Grady, and yeah, it's just all falling apart currently for the Pro 2 rookie driver in the conditions, and might even have a mechanical as he turns the car around and lets Leon Lynch finish his lap in style. And Leon Lynch, I would say, Alan, pretty confidently that he'll be booking his place in the top 16.
I think so. I think he's basically, as we would say, 1 foot into that top 16, and yeah, he will be facing up the number 1 qualifier perhaps here. Obviously, we'll get the final verdict from the judges, but I think unofficially that will be a win for Leon Lynch, the pro driver, in that incredible S14 with the 180 front and S15 rear. We still haven't figured out what we're going to call it. We decided that
an S1
we were supposed to have a meeting. Remember, we had set a time during lunch to have a meeting to decide what we're going to call Leon Lynch, because we knew the first car was up, but we didn't decide to do it in the end.
A 135, a 145, I think. So Leon Lynch is indeed the winner, guys, going on to the top 16, where he does get to face off against first place qualifier Jack Caldwell. An unenviable bracket there for Leon Lynch, but you know what? He's going to be relishing that challenge, and Cahill O'Grady will be happy with his weekend after coming up from Pro 2 action yesterday as a rookie driver. So he will be, you know, he'll be pretty proud of what he's achieved so far. As you can see here, guys, the conditions in Watergrasshill absolutely not perfect, but definitely they are good for entertainment value. Now, as we go to, I believe, the man who qualified in 24th position, Adam Kelly, faces off against the higher qualifier of the non-automatic qualifying positions in 9th. That is Jamie Hines. So once again, guys, the top 8 gone straight into the top 16. We won't see them until the top 16 later on. This is the top 24 where we battle out 9th versus 24th, and it is 9th versus 24th. Oh, Jamie Hines doesn't get the rotation, doesn't quite get the car set up, and it puts off Kelly in the chase position. Interesting one for the judges here, Alan, to see exactly how much that put Kelly off. I think it has to be disadvantage to the Galway young man at this stage. Now Kelly starting to look for the door of the S14 in his big R33 Skyline, which looks so fast in qualifying. But, you know, Jamie Hines has one of the faster cars as well. Oh, Kelly with a double rotation. Yeah, big mistake from Kelly there as well, Alan, as you said. And it's a bit of a scrappy run here. The conditions catching out the drivers very much so, and it's difficult here, Alan, at the moment.
Yeah, certainly, and I think it all comes down to, and more contact again across the line. This run is full of action. We have so much to decipher here, so let's have a quick look here. First of all, we've got Jamie coming down the straight, and does he do his tree motion? He does do a tree motion, and I think this is what caught him out. This is something I don't think you should really be trying this in these type of conditions. You down the straight is half dry, half wet, so he probably started the flick when it was dry, then it caught him wet, and then it snapped him. And then Adam Kelly, first of all, has a 1 foot again, you know, into that top 16 battle, because that was a major mistake from Jamie Hines. Adam does an too early of a transition, does a major straighten here independently, and nearly runs into the back of Jamie Hines. Realises now that he has to close back up the gap because he's just made a mistake of his own. Puts the wheel on the inside of the track here, cuts past clipping point 8, goes into clipping point 9, and do we see a little shut off? Oh, we do see a little shut off from Jamie coming up to the line. Seems to lose a bit of traction, let's say. Instead of letting the car fall off the track, does the right thing, tries to keep it on the track, but that does cause a tiny bit of contact. So,
yeah, well broken down there, Alan, and I would have to agree with everything you said. It's a difficult one for the judges, but overall,
and it seems like Adam Kelly's called a 5-minute rule.
Yeah, it looks like Adam Kelly has car issues here, so drama straight away in the top 24 here at IDS round 4. Guys, if you are joining us from home, get in the comments on the YouTube and let us know what you're thinking about each battle, and be sure to get involved. We'll keep a check on those every now and then, and give a shout out to yourselves and us if you want to, and ask any questions that you feel might be relevant. And if we have some downtime, we'll maybe field some questions that you have as well, of course. And if you are here in the event, thank you for making the trip to Watergrasshill in sketchy conditions in Ireland as we get the last of the summer here. Had quite a good summer actually here in Ireland, but we're at the tail end of it now, and definitely getting those tail end of summer showers, typical of late August and September in this country, which is a great country for drifting, but not such a great country for weather, to be honest. As we go down to the line, and it is an interesting battle here. It is Dara Spencer back in competition after a significant hiatus, who qualified down in 20th position. Strange for a man who could have easily won qualifying on his day, and he faces off against Luke Talley in 13th position. So once again, guys, thank you very much to Red Bull and Lucky Day Competitions for being the title sponsors of IDS this season. Give them a check out. Red Bull running unbelievable events throughout Ireland and internationally, of course, and Lucky Day Competitions running the best competitions known to man, with villas in Spain at this stage, never mind supercars, superbikes, everything in between. So Luke Talley leads us in, the man behind another sponsor, Exemplar Airport Concierge Service. But look at this, Dara Spencer is one of the best chase drivers in the country. He might not have qualified great here, guys, but he is a top chase driver in the BMW, and he's just sizing up Talley now. Look at him, sizing up Talley, sizing up the pace of his opponent here. He'll wait now to make the dive here. And actually, wider line there for Spencer in the chase position unusually. He's doing a great job here, Alan Hines, in the chase so far on the left foot brake. Now does he manage coming down the chute here? He does indeed. It's lovely stuff there from the Donegal man. Luke Talley making it relatively easy for him with a really good lead line, exactly what the judges would have wanted to have seen, and they crossed the line. And not a bad one for sketchy conditions, Alan.
Yeah, there's a few mistakes there on both sides, but I mean, this is incredibly smart chase driving by Dara Spencer. Yeah, of course, he's not on door-to-door action here through outside zone number 1 or clipping point 1 here, but of course Luke Talley doing a really great lead on it to give that opportunity for Dara Spencer. An interesting one here. I love how Dara Spencer sets his sights, cleans up the act here, doesn't 100% follow Luke Talley, but gets the right line. So not only is he following Luke Talley around the track, but he actually has in place a better lead line than Luke Talley, and I think that's incredible chase driving to adapt to that on the fly. And as we do one final transition here, nice snap, across the rear bumper of that GTR 86. There's a bit of contact here across the line. It does shut off Dara Spencer across the line a little bit, but I do think that's kind of like an even kind of mistake, because 2 wheels off from Luke Talley. He was trying to avoid contact, I'm sure. So from Dara Spencer that was. So an interesting one there across the line, but I think we will see what the second half is going to bring for us here.
Yeah, so we do have the advantage of a Cork Driftmasters driver on the technical stuff. Yeah. No, it's really good. Loving the breakdowns in depth here, giving us an insight into what the judges will be looking for, and it's a great entry here from Dara Spencer. He rubs the wall with the E46 BMW, but look at this, Luke Talley, the man from Exemplar, is right there with him on the inside line. Talley catches a bit of grip and deals with it really well. Does he make the dive here? You know, we spoke about a couple of drivers improving earlier, Alan. Luke Talley is another one of them. He's getting better and better every time we see him. Now he takes the inside line there, doesn't quite get out to the outside. And we mentioned here, guys, that the chase car should really look for the back bumper through that section, Alan, rather than the door, because it makes them sacrifice the line so much if they're looking for the door through this whole section. Now is the time to get on the door from here on in. And unfortunately, Talley, wow, messy one here, guys. Big one for the judges. There's contact, there's an overtake, and there's quite a lot happening here at IDS.
I mean, it was up until this point, it was possibly on par for one more time, I think. There was a wheel drop here from Dara Spencer on the outside zone of number 1, and to be honest with Luke Talley's chase is really, really good. As you mentioned, Mike, really great job from him. Dara Spencer does run a tad bit wide. He had to do a lot of clutch checking here to be able to clutch kicking, should I say, not clutch checking, around there to try and rotate. The car does drop a wheel here. Luke Talley looks very shallow coming on the line on the inside there, very bad line, and does have the proximity but very shallow an angle. Really good line from Dara Spencer through clipping point 8, transitions nicely into 9. Now this midway through this zone of 9 into 10, there's a bit of a wet patch. It does force Dara Spencer to drop a wheel into the gravel, but Luke Talley is completely on the wrong part of the track entirely. He's actually on the drier part of the track, Mike. So yeah, in theory, you know, he's on a way faster line because he's on the inside. Yeah, but he's on a dry section of it too, and he just cuts himself off. So, well, the thing is, Spencer definitely catches a lack of grip and over rotates. Right. I think the problem here is going to be Talley's position on track was all wrong. Yeah, I honestly, up until that point, it was looking like a one more time kind of a call, but I think that's going to settle the battle, to be honest with you, and in the last 5 meters of the run. So we just see which direction this goes.
We might have an intercooler pipe knocked off here.
Yeah, it looks very bent. The front wheel looks shattered. Well, not shattered, I think it's just dirty. Yeah, well, he will have time to get the car ready should he make it through to the top 16. Dara Spencer, again, a guy who's fully capable of winning this event. He's one of the top drivers in the country and a crazy chase driver. Conditions for the evening are scattered, so we don't actually know whether we're going to see rain or dry for the course of the evening. A clear forecast. No, it's really patchy, so I think it's going to be very entertaining and very dramatic. Luke Talley there giving a good example of when maybe not to attack through the first hairpin section up until the chute section. Maybe is not the place to go on the door.
you just really want to be on the bumper. And it is indeed Dara Spencer, guys, gets the win. So Luke Talley deemed a fault there for the contact, and Dara Spencer getting the win as Charlene, our finish line marshal for the day. Points to Spencer, and denotes that he will be going through to the top 16, where he faces off against, I believe it to be Marcus Heinen. So that'll be an interesting one. Dara Spencer going through. So that leaves us to go back to the line for this second half of the battle between Jamie Hines and Adam Kelly. Remember, Jamie Hines, a little bit sketchy there on entry, Alan.
Yeah, definitely sketchy.
Bit hard to chase, but Adam Kelly calling a 5-minute rule at the end of his one.
Yeah, I think that 5-minute rule was probably just to check the car over. Sure, look, anyway, we're going to the second half of this battle. It's all to play for here. Jamie Hines making a major mistake since lead run, and Adam Kelly making a few of his own. So this battle is really going to be a deciding factor of who's going to take this one home. Of course.
Yeah, straight line initiation pretty much from Kelly, causing him to go onto the inside of the track. I think maybe an intelligent move in the conditions, but the grip levels are starting to get better than when these guys battled just a few minutes ago. So Kelly catching the grip on initiation and losing quite a lot of speed there. Hines dealing with it quite well now. Hines putting the foot to floor, looking for the door of the big skyline of Kelly, and he's doing a good job of it here through this section. He's got beautiful proximity right through here. That's exactly where you want to be, but he got caught, as so many more drivers do, down through the chute section here. Such a technical track here at Watergrasshill, guys. It's not your typical car park, get on the door track. You have to really think about it. It's catching everybody out. And I think you're going to see the real big hitters in the championship later on, Alan, really having this one figured out and showing us what this track is all about.
Yeah, I think this run, it's a really tricky one which way to put this, because of course both drivers made lead mistakes on initiation through zone 1, and then not only that, but there was a few other mistakes later on in the run, more so from the chase driver Jamie Hines. I think Adam's run could be a little bit cleaner places. I think he hits all the marks he needs to hit. It's not a 90s point run, it's probably barely an 80-point qualifying run, should we say. But Jamie Hines, should I say, did a lovely transition there, just never committed to it. I think he kind of screwed him a bit more, and there's no contact across the line here. So this one is really close, and I mean, I don't know what direction to go. It's a battle of mistakes, Mike, and it's not exactly what you want to see.
No.
It's to be kind of expected with the weather conditions, if we're honest.
Yeah, and this is going to be a battle of consistency, and it's almost like the Isle of Man TT, and where the drivers are facing off against themselves almost as well.
Right, yes.
Because it's man versus track here as much as man versus opponent. You know.
And look, I understand in other championships they might give sighting laps. We don't do that here. This is the act of God. You run what you brung, you kind of, or you arrive on. If it rains for your run, sorry.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we saw in qualifying, a lot of the guys adapted really well to the weather conditions, to be fair to them. So
yeah, but it's a different kettle of fish than when you're chasing.
100%, you're 100% right with that, Mike. And yeah, look, these guys are really good, and sometimes it's easy for us to judge them and say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But of course, they're trying to do their best.
Well, in these conditions, sometimes you can be floating around and the car is just getting no grip, and the next thing, all of a sudden, you just catch so much grip, especially down through that center chute section, which is on newer tarmac, which is super grippy. It's a different texture to the rest of the tar, and along with that, you're dropping downhill really suddenly, and at the bottom of that hill, the car bottoms out. It digs the rear tires into the ground. So between the different surface and between the elevation change, where the rear of the car catches so much grip from the sheer and utter fact that it's coming downhill and going back onto the flat, it's really throwing up a lot of challenges. I do think, according as the day goes on, that the drivers will learn that, and they'll just give it a quick clutch kick before it starts to bottom out at the bottom to keep the car sideways. But so far, it's definitely catching out a couple of the chase drivers. And once again, guys, you do join us at Adventure Park at Cartworld, Watergrasshill, in the south, pretty much in the centre of the south of the country, here in Cork, kind of East County Cork and South Central Ireland, not South Central LA, that's a different place. South Central Ireland, a bit less built up than South Central LA. But yeah,
back to a replay here from the judges. They're still watching this one back. They're deep in conversation. I'm sure they're trying to figure out which direction they could go. And to be honest with you, with how messy the battle is, I wouldn't be surprised if the judges are going 3 different directions. Ideally, the judges would, judging from the same rule book, would all have the same verdict, So
yeah, but I mean, that's why there are 3 of them. They can vary in opinion, and we have seen the very, very rare time we have seen a 3-way split before. We saw it last week in Ellen in Poland, actually,
times,
but it's unusual to see it in Ireland because the judges are in,
the rule book is a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
Here, like in terms of judging criteria and stuff.
And indeed, Alan Hines, you called it, guys, between Jamie Hines and Adam Kelly. We are going one more time, sending them around once again. The judges not able to separate them, just lots of mistakes on both runs there, and they will be sent for one more time. So that means that they'll go back to the pits, get the cars retired, we will run the next battle, and hopefully we will get a cleaner battle between these two.
I think that's the right call there. It's just super messy, and it's not even just how messy it is, it's just so many mistakes in the chase runs, so many mistakes in the lead runs. It'd be a matter of just saying, look guys, we're trying to evaluate which mistake is worse than the other. There's so many of them, they're probably borderline unchaseable, to be honest with you. It's some of the mistakes that we're making in the lead runs, and in the drivers in the chase runs were contacting, and they were obviously straightening themselves on their own behalf. So
well, Alan, we move it along to the battle between the rookie driver Jack Kelly and the big JZX90, who is needing a push start once again. We saw this yesterday.
That's true.
And Darrell Barnett, the man with all the experience in the world. So it is rookie versus the experience here. And Alan, do you think that the sheer weight of the JZX here will be a help in the weight, because as it catches those grippy sections, it might not be quite as effective as the shorter, the lighter Sylvia or GT86 chassis?
yeah, certainly. I think it's an interesting one because, of course, he's got the extra wheelbase as well, so that should make it a little bit easier to float it around the place. Of course, though, when it comes to transitioning in that extra wheelbase, extra, I suppose, weight of the car is a bit, it's a bit harder to deal with, of course. But you know what? I don't think this is going to be an issue for. I mean, look, we have the Darrell Barnett. It's the M246. I love the name of that. Brilliant name. And yeah, as we're here on the start line, wait to send these guys. It'll be Jack Kelly to lead in the pro driver of that of Darrell Barnett. So rookie versus pro. As they head around the roll pace chicane start line, and they send it down straight. Here comes Jack Kelly. He flicks it in like. And then really nice initiation here from Jack Kelly. Door and door from Darrell Barnett in the M246 BMW. But Jack Kelly powers down the back straight, pushes out to clip point 2, into clip point 3, and do a lovely dive from Darrell Barnett. And he checks himself up. He sets his sight back onto that JZX90 of Jack Kelly and flicks it back to the door again at the top of the hill. And this is an incredible lead run from Jack Kelly. But we can't take anything away from Darrell Barnett doing a great job doing what he needs to do if he wants to get an advantage from this run. A few mistakes creeping into the chase run of Darrell Barnett, but as they cross over the line, that slippy section of the track.
Yeah, a couple of drivers getting caught at the end there between 9 and 10 at the end of the run, so interesting to watch that. The spotters will be looking at that and alerting their drivers. But as you said, great run there from Jack Kelly, and the big JZX chassis here, Alan, strangely enough, suiting Watergrasshill. And yeah, I mean, great run there in the lead from Kelly. Really liking that. Barnett just backing out, as you said, Alan, from the from the proximity there in the M246 around 4, but gets back into formation then pretty quickly through 6 here and 7, cutting the track a little bit at 7 to maintain it. But I'm really liking the line from Kelly here as the lead driver. He's fulfilling all the goals. Barnett cutting the track a small bit to try to gain proximity. Then Kelly finds that section which is really slippy down there between 9 and 10. But overall, I think quite a clean lead run, showing how it could be done between Hines and Kelly from the previous run. It's not insurmountable, the conditions here. You can get a clean run here despite the patchy conditions. So Kevin, our start line marshal, gets the thumbs up from both drivers. Now Barnett becomes the lead driver, and we send them in once again over the hill here in Watergrasshill, tails wagging in the M246 BMW of Barnett. Kelly is right there with him, maybe not quite as close as Barnett was to him, but overall really nice proximity, consistent proximity here from Kelly. Now he can make the dive here, and makes contact almost again. The crucial thing here is to get on the back bumper, not to get in the door after 4, so that you can get 5 as the chase driver. But unfortunately for Kelly, they're totally sacrificing 5, still maintaining some proximity here, dials in the angle as the chase driver to keep out of the way of the tail swing of Barnett. But unfortunately for Kelly, they're not perfect timing on the transition, finds himself on the inside of the track once again and crosses the line. And Barnett there with a really good lead run that time, Alan.
Yeah, credit to Darrell Barnett for staying in on it, contact as well. He could have easily flopped and put it into the judge's hands to make a decision on that, but he didn't. He kept his foot in it, and that makes it easier for the judges because there was clearly contact from the chase driver. I don't think Darrell does anything necessarily wrong here. Yeah, it just looks like the heavier JZX90 Mark II of Jack Kelly just floated a little bit too long in there, and I don't think he anchored on the brakes a bit too long. or long enough, should I say, to slow that car down, as Dal Barnett's lead run is probably not as nice of Jack Kelly's lead run from previous, but I think he hits all the marks he needs to, and Jack Kelly does make some major mistakes in the chase. We'll see one here in the last outer zone here of number 10, very far on the inside, as Dal Barnett does a great job filling that, as the two drivers, you know, Mike.
Well, they get out of the cars, guys. Round of applause for Jack Kelly and Darrell Barnett, as Darrell Barnett takes the win. And he'll be delighted with that experience coming to the fore there. Jack Kelly's chassis very much suiting the conditions here, but overall there, just maybe the contact and the great lead run there from Darrell Barnett, clinching it for the Ulsterman as he moves on to the top 16, where he will face against Dylan Garvey. Wow, what a draw that is. So Darrell Barnett goes through to the top 16. So that means we go back to the line, and it is Dean Davey versus Matt Darren on the line. A good battle here in terms of qualifying positions. Matt Darren qualifying in 15th, the higher qualifier leading in first, the advantage being he knows how hard he has to chase when we swap it around to the second run. So Matt Darren, his job will be to fulfill the lead driver's goals of running that perfect 100-point qualifying line. And of course, Dean Davey has to mimic him as closely as humanly possible in these difficult conditions here in Watergrasshill. Oh, Matt Darren uses the whole track. That's a no-no from briefing Alan Hines. He cannot use the whole track. He has 2/3 of the track to use, so the judges will look at that and knock down Matt Darren a little bit. Oh, and contact between, huge contact between both drivers, and unfortunately Dean Davey gets caught on the tractor tires, and the front of his car goes way in the air, and that car is going to have huge suspension damage. Alan Hines, that's his second time over the tires today.
Is it really?
Yeah, in qualifying he went over them as well. And
oh yeah, clip 8, yeah, he hit them there as well. It's a major error here, so let's see what happens. So yeah, Matt Darren uses the full width of the track, doesn't seem to affect Dean Davey too badly. Dean does a major understeer, and I think he knows from this point he has to push hard. Now, Matt Darren, I don't think the transition from Matt Darren looked the nicest either, if I'm honest with you, Mike. We'll have to have a better camera angle of that.
Yeah, well, this is down to the judges. This could be the lead driver's fault. We'll have to wait and see, because, okay, Matt Darren's not allowed to use the whole lot of the track like that.
But to be fair, it didn't affect Dean until now,
but he's still not supposed to do it.
Correct.
Yeah, so Matt Darren runs a little bit wide there, but not too bad.
And to be honest, Dean is unlucky that the bumper, if you see it, the bumper actually falls underneath the front of the car after the tap, and it gets stuck under his wheel, and it just literally understeers the car off the track. So I think from that point he's a passenger.
I agree that Matt's entry didn't necessarily upset Dean. Now Dean is in, he just doesn't give room to, I mean, Matt is transitioning. We'll have to see how that drone shot is fantastic. We'll have to see how Matt is looking. Does he transition? Is he going to come away from 2 really early here is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, just drone camera I don't think really helps us, to be honest with you, because Dean is actually blocking.
Well, is Matt, yeah, was Matt heading maybe a little bit towards 2 a little bit early?
Well, first of all, he's really wide off of leaving 1. So 1 is not this first box we see, it's this box right here. So he should be starting to leave the track now.
Okay.
And he's still on the side.
So that was just he's late actually.
He's late to the transition, let's say, and he's late leaving the zone. So there's another box after zone 1. That's the old box from previous rounds. That was never painted over black or anything. That's still there from previous rounds. And that is not the end of zone 1. That zone 1 ends now, and he's still on the edge of the track trying to do the old line.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I would say. I'm not gonna. Don't know if I want to speculate any more here, because this is a really tricky one. The obvious call, obviously, is that Dean hits the back of Matt.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the simplistic call here.
That's the simplistic call. Obviously, there's a little bit more detail here that the judges have to dive into, and they need to get the best call that they can. And it's just a small little line error from Matt, and then perhaps maybe a small line error from Dean being a bit too inside. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it could be like almost a shared fault situation here, which is, I believe, a rule in the rule book. Look how inside Dean Davey is compared to the line he should be on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the incorrect line from the chase car also
here.
Yes. So I think there's a bit of column A and a bit of column B involved, as there so often is in drifting. The tyres there at the edge of the track, I presume just to keep the drivers away from the flagpoles. We had Brendan Burke hitting one of those a couple of years ago, and it ended up at about kind of leaning Tower of Pisa angle, maybe 10-15 degrees length over at the end of the day, and that wasn't great. So I think the tyres are just there to keep the drivers away from those poles, which are obviously much more solid than the tyres, so they did their job right there. And Matt Darren with a little bit of damage as well. but not a lot, I would say, under the back of the E36 of Darren. And Kevin, our start line marshal, having a look at the car there, and the media crew's getting involved.
I just don't like how Dean's car went over the tyres. I'm wondering, like, the amount of damage underneath the back of that. Like, there could be chassis damage or anything there. It's such an unusual accident, and
You'd
like,
accept the front control arm and subframe might have been pulled here a little bit.
Yeah, certainly. Like, I mean, it's
even a turret, like with that kind of shock up through it, would a turret have chassis leg have risen a bit?
Instead of like bending a leg left or right, it might have bent it
upwards.
You know?
Yeah. So hopefully the chassis okay there. Maybe hopefully if the tire just climbed the other tire, hopefully the suspension, the upright took it. The shock took the shock.
The Davy team, I would be putting that thing on a chassis jig and
on the jig.
Just to check it, because S chassis, they're not the strongest cars in the world.
No, I remember being at work with Darren McNamara's 240 SX on the jig that we have at work once, and we, even though the cage was triangulated to the turrets, no engine in the car, and I put a medium-sized power bar, a pry bar, underneath the front chassis leg, and I could literally move the chassis leg with one finger from the pry bar.
That's crazy.
There's nothing in them. And I remember another time in my first drift car, my Bridgestone Celati was going on the lift, and I had the back strut brace lined up to put on, and I was in the car, and the boys raised us up on the lift, and I was just about to bolt up the strut brace up while inside in the car up on the lift, and the car had moved genuinely about a centimetre. The top of the turrets, the strut brace was adjusted, and it was genuinely 10 mil out when the car went up on the lift versus when it was on its four wheels. Jeez. So they flex so much, and if you're racing or drifting a car without a cage versus one with a cage, a really good cage, you can feel such a difference in the chassis flexible.
The reaction time and everything in the car.
Yeah. So I think, like you said, a long story short, these chassis aren't the strongest in the world. They're kind of like an A86 plus, and they can be bent, as we see our judges here, Kieran Hines, Tom Murphy and Conor Falvey here looking. Tom Murphy giving a wave, trying to get Kieran involved, but Kieran is just doing usual things.
4 days late.
needling things. Kieran is always distracting us.
Conor Falvey's same position also in every vehicle he drives as well.
He's sitting down on his Alfa Romeos.
Yeah.
So we get young Davy recovered and getting some news on him. Okay, so we are hearing news that Dean Davy was deemed at fault there from Sean Healy, our track controller, our head marshal, getting word from the judges that Dean Davy was deemed at fault for that one, and we are going back to the one more time on track here, guys, between young Jamie and young Adam. Not quite as young Adam, but still young. To me at least.
Well, I'm replacing Adam for this weekend, as I don't know, we actually mentioned that. Obviously, I'm not Adam. I'm not a ginger, unfortunately.
Well, it's Adam Kelly we're talking about.
Oh, Adam Kelly. Oh my God.
Adam. Yeah, the one more time.
Yeah, I'm jumping ahead.
The drifting.
I was talking about me. I thought we were talking about me here, not Adam Kelly and Jamie Hines. But we've got Adam Kelly and Jamie Hines up once again.
Yeah, so just updating you that Dean Davy has called a 5-minute rule. Matt Darren then is awarded a competition timeout. So 1 5-minute rule available per drifter up until the top 4, where they unlock another one. Basically, they have 5 minutes in which to repair their car once their crew gets it safely on axle stands or opens the bonnet in their pit area. Matt Darren has until the end of the battle bracket, I believe, to get his car ready with a competition timeout. So we'll bring you more from that according as the drama unfolds. We go back to the one more time, which was a double messy battle between Jamie Hines and Adam Kelly. Young Hines from Galway up from pole 2 yesterday, leads us in his S14. It's a little bit better from both this time. Adam Kelly follows him in the bigger and the more powerful also R33 Skyline, and almost double the horsepower here in Kelly's car, interestingly, with the 2 JZ power, and he's right there. Look at this, he's right there with young Jamie, but he straightens up a bit, kicks the clutch, gets the Skyline going in, but it's all falling apart here for Kelly, and he shuts it down. Does he get it going in? He does, but a big mistake, I think, from the chase driver here, Alan Hines, as young Jamie now drops down the chute here and into our middle section of the track once again, doubling back on himself. Kelly doing his best to catch up, but it's all falling apart there for the Waterford man. And Alan, was that a fault of the chase driver, do you think?
I think so, and I wonder there was a little more mistake from Adam Kelly after that. I wonder there was a bit of damage after that. I don't believe the, obviously Jamie cleans up his act here on his lead run through clip point 1, does a great job. I think Adam does a good job mimicking the line all the way down the back straight here, and I think he dives a bit too much onto the door. I do see a little tad bit of a correction from Jamie, but I don't think it's out of the realm of things, and it looks like Adam Kelly's maybe possibly bent a tie rod there or something like that. Yeah, look, it is a great run there from both guys, and yeah, we see a replay here once again from the drone POV, as we actually don't see that drone POV.
Well, you can check out the guys at the drone operators there at Core Era, COREEIRE FPV on Instagram. They put up some fantastic stuff there, and what a pilot, literally. And do be sure to check us out as well, guys, on the Irish Drift series on the Instagram and the Facebook, and the Tiki-Taki and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah,
check us out on social media, and of course IDS is brought to you this season, as I mentioned, by Lucky Day Competitions and Red Bull, keeping IDS going.
We're just seeing a replay here again of the contact from drone camera, and it doesn't look like from that point of view that Jamie did anything wrong there, in my opinion anyway, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Also brought to you, of course, this season, guys, by Strong Wheels, Kinda Tires, Drift Mafia, G&D Tire and Service Centre, Eugen Factory, Group D, where you have to talk to me, Turn Distribution, Max Flow, Exemplar Airport Concierge Service, Exact Science and Lexi Brake. So be sure to check out those sponsors, guys. Keep them supported. All good companies, all good people, and they keep IDS going and Irish Drifting going. As we swap it around now, Adam Kelly leads us in the big Skyline, closely followed by Jamie Hines in the S14. Can they have a nice clean run this time? It's not happened in 3 runs so far for each of these drivers. Hopefully we can have a nice consistent battle here, and young Jamie in the driver's seat, according to you, Alan Hines, to win this battle because of the contact right here in the last run. Now Adam Kelly putting the foot down to the stop in the Skyline, going a little bit shallow there, around 6, missing 6. Young Jamie doing his best here in the chase position as they drop down the chute here, down the elevation change and down into the centre section of the track once again. Kelly running a little bit wide, Hines capitalising now and closing the gap, and they cross the line. No contact in this one, at least, Alan.
Yeah, no contact this time, and no major mistakes with the chaser of Jamie. And Adam had a few tiny mistakes, but I mean, look, it's weather conditions to be expected, to be honest with you. A few wheels off here and there. It's a close one. It's going to come down to the contact, I think, on that previous run, to be honest with you, Mike. So it'll be interesting to see which direction the judge will go with it.
Yeah, well, I think maybe that contact on the first run might be the defining factor, guys. And round of applause for Adam Kelly and young Jamie Hines as they get out of the cars. And thank you once again, guys, for joining us in the flesh or on live stream. And we can announce going through to the top 16, it's young Jamie Hines, the Pro 2 driver, who takes down the Pro driver Adam Kelly on his way to the top 16. And Jamie Hines, according to our sheets here, will actually face off against Jake Davey, who they would have known each other from battling in Pro 2 last year. So Jake Davey will face off against Jamie Hines in the top 16. So that is starting to get our top 16 picture, you know, looking a little bit clearer here, and we move it on to another battle where it should be Ben Rogers, the higher qualifier, from 10th position, facing off against In the Lions, the Galway man, qualifying down in 23rd position, if you remember, from qualifying with a crazy lap with a backwards entry and absolutely silly stuff going on in his second lap there, but it didn't quite work out.
And the transitions, everything looked fantastic as well. And yeah, as we have these two guys on the line, we have the iconic, is that Tian Lee 180SX of In the Lions, and obviously Ben Rogers. The whole family of the Roger family are a fantastic group of, fantastic family.
They are indeed, yeah. Jack and all the gang there, and Gordon and everyone, always present at Irish Drifting. Ben Rogers leads us in the Lions, always present at Irish Drifting as well, a great man for the sport. Nicer entry here from Inda, almost backwards once again in his 180, but he's very much on the inside of the track here. Ben Rogers on the correct line at last, on the outside now. A little bit sketchy once again from both drivers. Remember, guys, these guys are the cream of the crop. It does look sketchy, but these conditions are super difficult, as we now see tyre smoke start to appear, and you'll see another section of the track right here where there isn't a puff of tyre smoke because the conditions are so greasy. So you can see from the back of Rogers' car, tyre smoke appearing now. You won't see it here again. It's absolutely crazy conditions here, but they're doing a good job here, Alan, in difficult times. And now In the Lions closing the gap up as they cross the line in mad conditions here at IDS.
Yeah, I certainly saw the major errors by both drivers. I wonder, is that error from In the Lions being inside the track more so from Rogers' initiation? It looked very forced, I guess, and didn't look the most confidence inspiring. But In the Lions does a great job to adapt here. I think he's trying to find a place to dive back onto the door. You know what I'm saying? He can't dive to the door until the next decel zone, which would have been there between 3 and 4. As they power back up a hill here to point number 6, and great mimicking here from In the Lions, follows the door as Ben Rogers goes down the chute. this is all in slow motion. The weather conditions really slowing down things here, Mike, and as they transition one final time into the outside zone number 10 here. And yeah, great job by both drivers. A bit of door-and-door action, which is what we like to see.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Hell yeah. As we say in the States. Good job.
No, we don't say that in the States because we're not from the States.
Oh, we're from Ireland.
We're from Ireland.
Evidence.
We say, great job.
Great job, boy.
Great job, boy. We're from Kerry.
We're from Cork. Right, so moving swiftly along to the drifting again. Alan Hines and myself can often get a little bit caught up in the crack. In the crack in the moment. Big shout out as well. Speaking of accents, to Eddie Power, who has a neutral accent watching from home, and Adam Driver, who is out in Ibiza at the moment, being filled in for by Alan Hines alongside me. Now a beautiful entry here from both drivers, but look at this from Rogers. He's right on the door here of In the Lines. Beautiful stuff from Rogers in the chase. In the Lines can't shake the S14 driver as they make their way around 4 here now, and lovely from Rogers. He's just hanging back here to exactly where he wants to be to stay online. Now he can attack here once again a little bit better. He wants to drop back here now again for a split second, allow the lead driver to transition and get into the pocket, allow him to transition again and find the pocket again. Okay, Rogers did sacrifice 8 a bit there, but he's right in the pocket and he's allowed to do so, and that's a great chase run.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about yesterday in the Pro 2 sacrificing transitions, and I think he sacrificed one of the transitions of proximity to get the last one nailed.
Exactly.
And I do think In the Lines lead run all the way through outside zone 1 here is doing really good. Through clip point 2 here down the back straight, great job by him. Does a nice transition into 3, and Ben Rogers is right there with him, and wow, look at the lead line from In the Lines. This is all borderline better than that of Ben Rogers' lead run. So, you know, Ben really utilising the chase from the Enda is giving him. His Enda does, wow, look at that, real white line there. This is the transition, the first transition that Ben sacrificed. Dials him up, lines him up, should I say, for the last one, and does a great job between 9 and 10 to maintain decent proximity, and again more door-and-door action across the line.
Yeah, good lead from Enda though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the lead line from Enda was almost better than that of Ben's, especially from the initiation anyway. And just wait for Enda to come back up to the start or to the results section here. But so I don't know, it's going to be a close one, I think, because you have a better chase from Ben, but then the lead line from Enda was better, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit of 6 and 1, half dozen in the other for sure in the eyes of the judges. Yeah. And they get out of the cars, guys. Round of applause, please, for In the Lines and Ben Rogers. And it is In the Lines who goes through to the top 16. Big cheers going up here from the In the Lines fan club present, and RB versus Jay-Z there, and the Jay-Z taking the scalp on that one. And Ben Rogers, unfortunate there after a really good attempt, Alan, but just not enough for In the Lines, the Galway men moving on.
That's true, yeah. I mean, look, I think first car out in the weather conditions like this, it's always sometimes, you know, not on the ideal situation, but the initiation, I think, was what really affected him there, and something to, I suppose, look back on and try and improve for next time.
Yeah, definitely. So it is an all-Pro 2 battle here now. It is guys who came up from yesterday's competition. Francie Hines looking really good in qualifying, knocking his Silati with the SR20 in 14th position against Jack Mulvihill, who's in his spare car, the 350Z, after his S14.9 had mechanical issues yesterday after blazing through qualifying with a 97-point qualifying run. Now, that is not 500 horsepower in the hands of Jack Mulvihill. The graphic is for his other car. This car is, I think, at most 300 brake horsepower, but look at this. The young Kerry man is making it work, and he's right there, using the lack of angle maybe a little bit. Now matching the angle actually almost to Francie Hines in the 350Z to maintain the proximity here to his slightly higher powered Sylvia counterpart. And yeah, the little Z chassis, well, the medium-sized Z chassis, keeping up with the little S chassis here up to this point, but right over the centre section here now. Francie Hines using the grip of the semi-slicks to push the S13 into the distance here. Jack Mulvihill doing everything he can in the chase position in the Z, but it's not quite enough through the centre here. Now he closes the gap a little bit on the Galway men as they cross the line. How many Galway drivers do we have, Alan? It's been just Galway,
yeah,
Galway.
I think there's a stat there. We'll pull it up there shortly. It's 4 Galway drivers actually, Mike. Yeah, well, you know what, you know, I think first of all, obviously the horsepower advantage here for Francis Hines. We've got a bit of an age gap as well, so I think we've got the aggression and the hunger of that of Jack Mulvihill, you know what I'm saying, the young gun, you know, kind of no fear in his eyes. And then you've got Francis Hines, the maturity. I don't think he's very mature, if I'm honest with you.
He's like myself. Like myself.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, look at the speed here from Francis Hines leaving that. Good speed. Oh, a little error, obviously, as the car compresses there on the bottom of the chute. But clean chase from Jack Mulvihill, no major mistakes, just lacking time at proximity in areas. Obviously not able to keep up the horsepower weapon of that of SR20 horsepower S13. It's a lady. But
Yeah.
close one.
Absolutely, and guys, be sure to support our commentator here, Alan Hines, and our judge, of course, as well, young Conor Falvey, in the PGA Narodowa in Driftmasters, the Red Bull Driftmasters Grand Finale in 2 weeks' time in Poland, there in Warsaw. Fantastic venue, 55,000 people, I believe, Alan.
I think
will
it's
be
76,000 people
over the weekend.
Over the weekend,
Yeah.
something like that, 70 something.
So 76,000 people in the National Polish Stadium over the weekend. Be sure to support these two guys involved with IDS, of course. Several Irish drivers over there, as Jack Mulvihill, one of the future stars of Irish drifting, leads us in his 350Z. Oh, a little bit wide there from Francie Hines as he drops wheels. Jack Mulvihill going a tiny bit wide towards the end as well there. Now look at this. Young Jack Mulvihill in the spare car starts to open out the gap here. Sometimes, Alan, you know, the naturally aspirated cars in the wet, they can just labour, find the grip, and that sharp throttle response that you don't have to wait for the turbo can really help in the wet. So look at this, Jack Mulvihill now pulling out the gap. Francie Hines looking for him, sacrifices 7. Jack Mulvihill goes down the chute, gets the car dialed back around. I think even used a bit of back brake there on the handbrake to keep the car sideways. Francie Hines gets caught up, and Francie Hines has a problem here on the inside and understeers, and it crosses the line, and Jack Mulvihill could be after booking his place in the top 16 in a car with 300 horsepower here, guys.
Yeah, I think it might be some clutch issues there for Francis Hines. Obviously keeping up with the slower car, maybe something he might not have a lot of experience with the extra grip of the, you know, the semi-slicks that he has on the car for this particular day. I think I heard a bit of a clutch slip even coming back to the start line or finish line here, or results line should we say. There was a bit of a clutch slip there coming up the hill, so I think slipping the clutch possibly affected him on the approaching last corner, and it is Jack Mulvihill who gets the win in the Centrifugal Z. He moves on to the top 16, and he will be facing Jakub Kryszczak, is that right?
Well, let's have a look at the battle sheet here. And
no, sorry,
Dean Byrne.
Dean Byrne, apologies.
Yeah, Dean Byrne. So it's Jack Attack, Jack Mulvihill at Max Attack here in Watergrasshill. And yeah, it is going to be a battle with Dean Byrne for him in the top 16. And we go on, and I am told, guys, that Dean Davey is out of competition. So Dean Davey is retiring his S chassis after damage there, running over the tyres. So that means that Matt Darren and him will not be battling for their place in the top 16. It will be Matt Darren to progress because the fault was put in the hands of Davey. So Matt Darren progresses to the top 16, and that means that we have one more battle left in our top 24 here, guys. And it will be the one and only Jack Mahoney, the higher qualifier, to lead in. Jason McInerney, who's in 4th place in this championship, guys, but Jack Mahoney is a man with his own championship wishes here. Jason McInerney, though, really has to win this battle to keep his championship podium hopes alive. Look at this from Mahoney, perfect, but McInerney is right in the pocket with him, exactly where he wants to be here at round 4 of IDS. Now makes the dive once again onto the door. Look at this, perfect stuff from the Clareman in the chase position. The Hamilton sponsored E46 cannot get away from its slightly older E36 counterpart. A really nice lead line from Mawini, though, making it easy for the Clareman to stay right in the pocket with him. Perfect timing on the transition from McInerney, and perfect timing once again, pops back out onto the other side of the E46. A great lead line and a great chase, Alan.
Wow, incredible stuff. I love the transitions down the chute from Jason McInerney. Some proper pro level stuff right there. Jack Mahoney, though, look at this initiation from him. Wow, great stuff there. Puts 2 wheels in the outside zone and clip one all the way to the finish. Does he do that? Yes, of course. And look at the transitions from Jason McInerney. He sets his sights to the door again of that E46. And look what he does, straight onto the door again through clip point 4 here. Jack Mahoney hooks up clip 4 quite nicely, powers up through 5, up to 6, does he go. A nice approach there, maintaining that midline all the way through clip point 7. But look at Jason McInerney, this is where he comes to shine. He nails transition number 1, bam, done. Nails it once again. Oh, that's incredible stuff from Jason McInerney. And he pushes back to the door to Hamilton E46. Great stuff there by Mawini and McInerney.
Absolutely great stuff from both drivers. So big shout out there to Daniel Waldron watching on the live stream, the king of Ballyhonus, giving me a shout out there on live stream, but he is the real king of Ballyhonus. So dealt with 55-60 there. I know for a fact that is you, Danny Walter. You can't hide behind the username. I know exactly who it is. So back to the action here. Jason McInerney leads us in the Clareman. Oh, but look at this. Jack Mawhinney is dealing with the slightly offline there from McInerney, and it's J-Mac versus Jay Mawhinney, and Jack Mawhinney with the great entry there, but McInerney now is starting to put out a bit of a gap here. We'll have to have a look at exactly the circumstances leading up to this point in the replay, but McInerney with the great outside lead run. Look at this, perfect through 7, perfect through 8. Now Mawhinney is a great chase driver. Oh, almost cuts the front off his car in the chase there, looking for the door of McInerney. Does a great job at it and finds the door. Alan Hines, they cross the line, and this is only top 24 action.
Well, let's have a check and have a look and see what was the reason for the proximity separation after clip 1. As we see the initiation here from Jason McInerney, nice job there. 2 wheels in the zone. He does fall out of it quite badly and gets back into it again. He gets bumped by Mawhinney back into the zone, and then he straightens up down the straight, does Jason McInerney, but he collects himself nicely going into zone 3 here, and has another wobble of angle going into inside zone number 4, but powers back up again the hill, and Mawhinney is left in the dust. Jason McInerney does a great job here in the lead run as he goes back out towards 6 here, or 7 should I say. Down the chute do they go, out to 8. Mawhinney finally catches back up, does one nice transition. Back into 9 goes Jason McInerney, and it's only really now that we see some proximity from Mawhinney across the finish line. So we see proximity at the start, proximity at the end. Is the reason for the lack of proximity from in the run Jason McInerney's mistake that he made in clipping point 1? Or was it just the fact that Mawhinney could not keep up with the incredible yellow E46 of that or E36 of Jason McInerney?
Well, we do have a result, guys, and it is Jack Mawhinney who goes through to the top 16. And Jason McInerney, as you said, I think maybe just that little mistake there on entry making it difficult for the chase, possibly.
Yeah, he kind of, I wondered if he had to recheck again. I didn't really catch it on the stream that time, but on the replay, should I say, but it looked like he made a major error after the wall of point 1, and let me lower the zone a little bit.
Let me bring up the championship real quick. So, guys, that's an interesting one for the championship. So, Jack Mawhinney was in 5th position, as McInerney gets rid of, almost gets rid of his 2J, but getting rid of his tyres there. Mawhinney was in 5th position coming into this round with 137 points. McInerney was in 4th with 152 points. So that should mean that Jack Mawhinney now will overtake Jason McInerney in this championship hunt for the podium positions. I think 1st and 2nd, assuming of no surprises, will go to Garvey and Kuba. What an epic battle that has been all season and will continue to be. Leahy is looking, in that group with Jason McInerney and Mawhinney. So, we don't have Stephen Halferty this weekend, who's in 6th position, nor do we have Declan Byrne in 7th. Jake Davey is still in the hunt in 8th, but it's going to be, Jason McInerney, Jack Mawhinney, and Leahy, I think, after this round. But once again, it is, of course, a 6-round championship, guys, and we are taking the best 5 results. So the drivers can drop 1 round, and they can come back in, and, they will have their best 5 rounds, and that's what will count at the end of the season. We definitely have the big calculators out, Alan, there in Mondello Park for the final round,
yeah, and
on the 31st and 1st.
Really cool stuff coming to the final round of Mondello Park as well, which will be announced very soon. So we'll start to get a bit hype up for that.
Can you whisper in my ear?
I'll say it to you afterwards. I was told.
You won't tell me no?
I can't tell you no, because if I tell you no, I'll be telling all the people here as well.
Sure, what's wrong with that? It's a surprise. It's a surprise.
Mike, I'll tell you in a second. It's not a problem. I don't know why you're giving out to me now about it.
Surprise!
Sorry, surprise!
Sorry, caught on camera there. Alan Hines and myself usually get involved in our own conversations. Unfortunately, did we ever twin battle?
I probably beat you. No, I don't think we did, but I did beat you in the championship a few times.
Maybe
so
not.
I'll take that one to the grave.
I'd probably beat you in the championship a couple of times too.
I mean, I don't
probably
know.
Beat me these days.
Have you beat Jack Shannon or Conor Shannon?
I've beaten Jack twice and he's beaten me twice.
Alright, okay, fine.
Connor put a quick end to me in Mondello one day I battled him. I think I ended up inside in the grass at clip 3.
I've beaten them all except for James. So.
Same, I've beat except Connor.
Okay, we're going back and forth here.
Beaten Dwayne, I've beaten them all except James and Connor. Paul and Dunleary, Kieran Hines beat me once, very famously. If you remember that, guys, you want to go back to
that ended up in an ambulance. We won't talk about that much.
2017, 2018. Interestingly, my car got faster than that.
2019.
My car got faster after that collision because in the FC chassis, you can never really get them into positive camber, despite our best efforts. You could just about run the back wheels flat, and then when it hunkers down, it kind of cambers in a tiny bit. So we never had perfect tyre wear. But after that accident, I bent the subframe, and one side of the car actually had a little bit of positive camber, and the car literally got a bit faster. So if you want to make your FC fast, crack it into that pole at high speed, maybe in Dunleary or somewhere else.
Just don't tell anyone.
Just do it on your own. Do the both sides if you want to even up the chassis, obviously. So definitely advisable to crash your FC and make the rear of them a little bit better camber-wise. So that does conclude us here, guys, for top 24 action and our battle bracket for the top 16, as I find my schedule here. Our battle bracket for the top 16, Alan Hines will be Jack Halwell to face off against Leon Lynch in our first battle. Then it's Jake Davey versus Jamie Hines. It's Marcus Heinen versus Dara Spencer. It's Dylan Garvey versus Darrell Barnett. Then it's Davin Leahy against Matt Derrin. Owen Foran takes on in the Lions. Dean Byrne goes up against Jack Mulvihill. And second place in the championship, Jakob Shishak takes on Jack Marwini, who we just saw there. So interesting one. And what time are we back exactly for top 16? So we might be, it might be just a little bit early, and just double checking our times here for top 16 action, guys. We are scheduled to be back for 3:45 for the top 16 parade, but we are running a little bit quicker than scheduled there, I think, as I look to our track controller here, Sean Healy. And that was a quick top 24, Alan Hines, actually. We blasted through that one.
Yeah, some great drive there by everyone, and looking forward to seeing more of it later on. Of course. Yeah. And we've got Jack Halwell leading in the charge here for top 16, so we need to see if he can keep that lead runs going, of course. But sure, we'll see very, very soon what will happen next.
Absolutely. Well, we have some track demos coming up here, guys, and if you have won a passenger ride, if you are in attendance here and you were one of the 3 lucky people to win a passenger ride, guys, head down to the IDS tent right now. We will get you strapped in to your respective cars and get you out on track. We will have some track demos live here, which I do believe we'll be live streaming them. We won't be commentating on them because we don't know what we're talking about other than drifting. Don't know a lot about that sometimes as well, but we try. So guys, if you have won a passenger ride, head over to the IDS tent in the paddock. We'll get you strapped in, and we will have a couple of track demos with maybe some midi-moto motorbike action here, interesting stuff on, and we'll be back for top 16 parade action on the schedule at 3:45. Maybe just leave the YouTube on because we might come back a little bit early. We're running slightly earlier than scheduled. So join us, guys, in about, I would say, in about half an hour, 35 minutes time maybe, for the top 16 parade action. After a very fast and a very, very eventful and a very sketchy condition-wise top 24 from Alan Hines and myself. Once again, thank you very much. We'll see you back here 35 minutes roughly time for top 16 action here at IDS Round 4 Pro Competition. So very quick update there, guys. Just been given news that we do indeed have the one and only, just the aforementioned Conor Shanahan there. He's just arrived into the room actually. The current Driftmasters European Series star and the Formula Drift legend, fresh from a win over across the pond there. So if you want to stay with us here, guys, for a second, you know, Conor, we might no time like the present. You want to just rock in here behind me? Looking good. Sit down there, exactly. All impromptu stuff here, Conor. Nothing planned, nothing, you were here at Watergrasshill. We'll get you mic'd up there, swap that around. It's got Alan Hines' cooties on it, but can you hear me? And we get you on live there, Mike. Test 1 2.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound beautiful, dulcet tones.
Beautiful.
Oh wow! So guys, once again, welcome back to the live stream. Unexpectedly here with the one and only Conor Shanahan, fresh from Formula Drift action there, Conor, last weekend. And can you welcome, thank you for being here, supporting the local series down the road from you.
Yeah, it's always nice to come back to the national championship after the hectic traveling weeks, but it's always nice to come home, see the young talent and the people who are pushing this sport, and everybody in the Irish Championship doing a great job. So always proud to come here and know where it all started, basically.
Absolutely, yeah, and this is where it all started. And the camera's up here, Conor hiding in the corner if you want to see it. So guys, once again, if you don't know who this guy is, you might as well stop watching drifting now. But no, I'm just joking. But Conor Shanahan, absolute drift legend, Irish drift legend at this stage. And just to kick off, Conor, we'll have a hold of you here for a few minutes. You're on spotter's duty, I believe, this weekend as well, are you?
Yeah, so spotting for Jack Hallwell.
Okay, did a good job of it, I must say, in qualifying.
Yeah, really happy. It's been a good weekend so far. So yeah, Jack, my brother Jack Shanahan, and Podge Cronin 59 Industries have been kind of running Jack's program over the last couple of rounds. So said I'd step in this weekend. Jack's a good family friend of ours and a kid that keeps spirits alive. So he's always a good boy to be around and loves drifting. So trying to give him a little bit of work, and he's been, I think he probably has one of the best talents in this championship. I think with some direction, he's a talent what can go very far. So happy to be helping him, and done exactly what I wanted him to do in qualifying. And the plan from midday Friday practice probably was to try go win qualifying, and to deliver 2 runs like that in the dry and in the wet just shows that the talent is endless there. So hopefully we can keep pushing on, and hopefully he goes and does something now with it, and number 1 qualifier kind of adds a little bit of pressure, because if you just fail in your first battle, it's kind of like, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But I'm sure he's in a good mindset, and he's ready to go at it.
Well, he actually improved in the wet, strangely enough. So he got like a 94 in his first run in the dry, and then improved his score in the wet, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah, very impressive. Like to see I was watching a lot of runs, and it's good to know that he got rewarded for the level of commitment he had in the rain, but also no big mistakes, no big adjustments, and rain practice this morning went very good. So good to see that he can do it in both. I think a driver who can adapt like that and pull out a big score in the rain, shows that he's putting in the work and is trying to improve all the time. But it's enjoyable for me. I get asked a lot of times, being like, why are you here, why are you spotting, and why are you helping? But honestly, all those moments remind me every day of why I fell in love with this sport, and to see now the younger generation coming through. Yesterday I was here right to the final, down at the podium, and it's not that I have to do that. I choose to do that because I want to do that, and I love drifting, I love being here, I love supporting as much as I can to give back. I remember being those guys' age, like looking at James and looking at all the top guys at the time, saying maybe someday I can beat them, and now to be running at at the front of the biggest championships, and to come back here and see the generations what are coming through. There will be a next star, there will be somebody who will eventually go to Drift Masters who's at that age now, 14, 15. So to see their story now at an early age is good for me, and it reminds me of why I love the sport all the time.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get to where you are at the moment in a second, but I judged the first event that you ever competed in an E36 compact in Ultimate Drift in Fermoy in 2014.
I would say
14
or 15. No, I'd say 2014.
14 maybe, possibly, and
crazy.
Yeah, I remember you were 12 years of age, not 13, which was the minimum age to compete. We can say that now. We're beyond the statute of rights.
When I was 12, my father was pretty good at convincing everybody I was 13. It was only kind of for half a year.
He changed the date of birth on your birth cert by 1 number, I think. There.
I'm not sure, but I was kind of competing since I was 12, and but crazy to think. When you think back of those moments, and just a kid with no idea, with a dream and a great family behind me, and pretty crazy. I still remember all those moments of driving, and like not really taking anything in. I was a young kid who was just enjoying drifting, and
who had a fire in the car that weekend as well.
Yeah, I had a huge fire, and actually it was a weekend what knocked me.
Probably
actually
not funny,
it was at that age I was like, oh, this is kind of scary now. It's not fun anymore. But
but you came from a racing background, right? Racing in ovals and Rose Green in the hot rods, and you were already used to racing, but obviously drifting was a different ball game again, more power and crazy stuff. But okay, so just to bring us into the present day for a moment, Tell us about last weekend in Formula Drift.
Yeah, big weekend. Needed a big weekend. Yeah, FD has been overall really strong this year. Really happy with the program that I'm with now, and honestly, I was close to not going back to FD this year. I had a pretty rough year last year. I was down the dumps at the end of it, and was like, okay, maybe I need a break. Find a better program and come back with a better structure. But then the program what I kind of wanted popped up with Jerry Yang, and it was a very simple conversation. I was like, let's do it, and Jerry was willing to build a new car, and very grateful that I got the chance to now drive for Jerry. He's been doing an incredible job. Started really strong with a win in Long Beach, and I guess in a way it probably, obviously I was happy that I won Long Beach, but I feel like it maybe put us in a moment of like everything is perfect, we don't need to change anything, and as we push forward a little bit, we started to realize that okay, we need a little bit better setup, we need to work on things a little bit more. So we kind of had some ups and downs. Now we've had 3 podiums there this year after a win last weekend, and the win last weekend was really just last roll of the dice, try stay in the fight. An FD championship is the dream. Like it's, I feel like I get asked at the moment, like, oh, are you excited to go to Poland? Of course I'm excited to go to Poland, and of course I would love to bring home another Drift Masters championship, but I've been lucky and fortunate enough to win that championship 2 times, which has been a huge achievement for my team. What started as a family ran team, and now it runs as one of the best teams in that championship. So I think like the last I said to my spotter a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about like, what do I want, and I was like, FD championship is missing in the Instagram bio, that's the one what I want. And so last weekend sucks that James got knocked out early, but we knew that we needed to take advantage of that when you get the chance. That guy does not get knocked out early that many times, we all know that, and it's quite crazy. Obviously James is a great family friend. We basically travel on the same schedule all around the world, but when the helmet goes on, we got to try beat each other, that's the name of the game. So yeah, when James got knocked out, we just put the head down, and that night was actually a really enjoyable night for me in the car. I really felt like I held really good composure. We were pushing, but it was not on the limit. It was like, let's take it one more time instead of giving somebody a 10-0 kind of mindset. And that was the plan. My spotter done a great job. The team done a good job. And nice to be back on top of the box. And 5 points off the lead of the championship now. It's game on, 2 rounds left. And we just have to keep that headspace going forward and try to take advantage of it if we can.
And how many, to run, as we have the passenger rides passing us now, how many in your team, so how many guys does it take to make that machine move? How many cogs are in the machine personnel-wise? Is it a huge travelling circus?
FD championship?
In your team, in FD, not in Drift Master, but in FD.
It has, like, obviously Jerry's the team owner of the team, and then we have one crew chief who's the main guy on the car. There's 2 mechanics under him, so 3 people kind of working on the car mainly.
Working around your preferences.
Working around what I want to do, working around the crew chief's decisions. And then we have Brian Hardstock, who's the tuner, also helps massively with setup.
I know Brian,
Brian's been doing a great job. I have to give props to Brian. He's, like, for me, when I go drive for somebody or I drive a program, it's always a little bit difficult because I came from a family team. And what the passion, what goes into my family, it's crazy.
I do.
So for me, when I meet people and I want to work with people, it's always very important that the passion has to be there, and like I have to give props to Brian. Like I could ask him for a 1% change and he'll be like, he's never arguing me on stuff, he's never saying no, he's doing an incredible job and he's putting a lot of energy into the program. So you have him who's basically making sure the engine's running good. But like the whole, I think my podium photo when I won in at the last round in Seattle, like there's probably overall between partners, like managers who are at the event, merchandise, stuff
truck
like
drivers.
that, truck drivers, food, there's close to probably 30 people on the podium photo.
Wow.
By the time you add, now Jerry has quite a big team of people because his team also is divided into 2, so he also runs a Kinda team, which not a lot of people kind of have noticed that this year, but Jerry has 2 teams in FD now.
Okay.
So the GT team is the team what I drive on. That's Jerry's main program. And then Watara and Nate Chin are also running under Jerry. So Jerry's operation is quite big. It's quite a big footprint in FD. But we have partners there from GT. Everybody's on the podium. So like the whole footprint is quite big, and it's you need every single one of them to make it work at that level, I think.
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, it's a huge operation in FD. You're travelling across the continent basically, just as you are in Europe. So once again, bring us back up to date now with your European situation, just in case the viewers at home don't know exactly where you are in terms of the championship. Obviously, we've got the two Polish guys, Peter and Pavel, are they're out in front, they're battling for the win. But what's your chances of taking a win here at the PGA in Ardova?
Need a little bit of luck.
Yeah, you need the two guys to go out early.
Yeah, they need to go out early. I probably need to go on to win the event, and the championship in my head was kind of wrote off before I went to Germany. Drift Masters this year has been a little bit frustrating for me. It's probably the best start of a season I ever had, like to go 1 for 1, one in America, one in Europe, then a second final in Europe, and I was like, geez, this is the best start I've ever had.
We're flying here now, lads.
But I feel we got maybe a little bit of a run of a little bit of bad luck and also a little bit of bad corner, and that happens sometimes. And the rule, like, not a rule, but something what we talk about quite heavily in our team is that I'm not a robot. So the day that I can perform to 100%, we need to have the opportunity at the cars 100%, because we're not going to get that opportunity every day. So if we're on to win an event, we need to make sure that nothing else can go wrong, because I'm maybe not on to win an event every day. So I think that's something. This year I went to Mondello, like had a really good qualifying session in Mondello, and
Dave Egan knocked you out.
Dave Egan beat me.
Yeah.
Not very happy about that.
I can see it in your face. Yeah.
Nothing towards Dave, but just more.
I was pushing
for the home win, like put so much work into that weekend from the start of practice, and felt it's there finally. Like that's actually probably one of the tracks what I most hate in the championship of Drift Masters, which is quite crazy that it's my home track. But
really,
yeah, I just don't like it. Just
no way.
I love the track. It's not that I don't like. I love driving the track, but now with the cars so hooked up, what they are at Drift Masters, like it's a knife edge
between 2 and 3 there.
And I made a decision. I made a silly decision. It was completely my own fault in Mondello. I went out in top 32 against Dave, and my team were kind of like, "What do you want to do here, like setup wise?" And I was like, "Oh, go all in." Not because we needed to go all in to have the car against Dave. It was more all in so I could get used of it. Going if we advanced through that, we would have been on a familiar setup going into top 16, top 8.
You were watching the top 16 rather than the next
exactly,
battle.
and you get bit sometimes, but then you can't sleep on that stuff either. People probably would say, "Oh, well, it was quite silly to be already thinking about that game," but we go there to win the event. I don't go there to try race in the top 32. I go there to win. So
exactly.
Yeah, just got bit out, understeered through the first corner, couldn't believe it. It was a hard one to take, and that was kind of where it snowballed in the middle of the year, and then it kind of was still on. Like I still stayed in the championship fight for 2 rounds with 2 top 32s, which was quite crazy. So that was just a sign that it was a really strong start of the year. Went to Finland, and Finland was a prime example of the point what I made of, like, the machine has to work when the man works. And Finland for me was probably one of the best battle practice sessions. Me and Conor Falvey drove 4 runs together, lead and chase on the limit, probably taking way more risk than we should have been in practice, but we were enjoying it and having a lot of fun, and felt really good. I was like, okay, it's still all under control here. We can still get back in the race, and went in the burnout box and broke a tie rod bolt holding the tie rod to the hub, like something we've never seen before.
I was devastated.
Like, what? Like, how does that even happen? And
I saw your reaction after.
Yeah, because I felt like that was probably, from me, that was the last roll of the dice, right? Like, I was like, okay, like we need to climb back a lot now if we go out here in 32, and then we went down in 32. Somehow stayed in the fight.
Yeah.
Then I went to Riga, and Connor zagged instead of zigged.
Yeah.
And those days happen too. So it's been one of those years that started really strong, took a dip in the middle, but we'll still be hopeful. There's a lot of Irish people going to Poland to support us, and it's drifting. Anything can happen. Like, you look at Peter's car last year, was broke down top 32 in a championship fight, equal in points than me, and we'll just go there. I'll go there the same as any other event and try focus on winning the event and look at the points that night, and whether champion or not, I'll enjoy it.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we're all very proud of you, and obviously you're doing great things with Red Bull, and you've been a fantastic ambassador for drifting for this country. You're so professional, and I think you approach the sport, yourself and Jack, your brother, are almost 180 degrees in terms of, not that he's not professional. I don't mean that. I mean, he drives on his heart, and he's he's full of passion, he's full of aggression, he's so entertaining that way. But you approach it from such a professional point of view, and even as you say there, if Conor's not 100%, we'll take our second or third here or whatever, but when Conor's 100%, we're winning the event. You approach it so methodically, and I think you're genuinely you're a real ambassador, and you're a real thing to look up to in terms of any of these guys who are out here, or anyone that wants to get into the sport. You know, they can look at you and they can be like, you can make it. Once you have, you know, the goal, once you have the drive, and once you have that fire in you to make it, I think, you know, you're a great inspiration to anybody. That's the word I was looking for, to make it. But just real quick, I mean, okay, for the viewers at home who are watching this, and for the people who watch it back on YouTube. Okay, so I competed over here for a long time, and it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult financially. It's difficult logistically, even to do it within Ireland. You know, if you come from, especially if you come from a non-motorsport background or whatever, it's not. You can do it, and it is an obtainable sport, but it is difficult. What must it be like for you, as David Ford does? Just wait. David Ford is outside the window here doing passenger rides, absolutely killing his V8 there. So, what must it be like, Conor, to... We'll wait.
Don't think he's going to stop.
Excuse us, guys.
He didn't get his value for his money yesterday, so he's gone full ham now.
Definitely going full ham, exactly. So, what must it be like, Conor? What is it like to just have to, you know, you're doing 2 of the top championships in the world right now, and that's all well and good, and everybody looks at you and you're living the dream, okay? You are living the dream, and you are living the dream. But how difficult is it as a human being from a day-to-day basis, genuinely now, as a human being, just no sponsor talk, no official talk here, as a human being, as Conor Shanahan, to just get to bed, be in a different continent every other weekend? How do you even get sleep? How do you eat right? How do you get from place to place? How do you do it logistically? Like, what kind of toll does it take on you as a human being? Or are you loving it? Or is it really difficult? I'm fascinated to know, because you and James and Jack, you guys live a crazy life right now.
Yeah, obviously I love it, and like, you have to I keep reminding myself that, you know, there's days that I complain about it.
It's all relative though, right?
Yeah, it's normal. Like, I'm always like, oh, get in the plane, you know, but, like, that's normal. That's the normal mindset. But I don't know, I think the simple thing, what I always say to myself is like, this is legit this is the dream what I wanted to live as a kid. Like, I lived and breathed it every single day. My whole family, me and Jack, you know, we're 2 normal brothers, you know. It's not a crazy story. We came from great parents who loved this sport as well, and you know, still love. My mom's here today watching. Dad will probably call up later, and I think for me it was more now when I do it. Yeah, the days what go rough. Like, honestly speaking, like at the end of last year, I was so checked out. Like, I went to Poland, I won a championship, and you know, I came home and my friends were asking me like, are you going to do homecoming and stuff, and I just was drained. Like,
Spent.
I was mentally drained from what happened at the other side of the continent. I had a really rough year in FD, and you know, put a lot of work into that program, built a car which I still have in America, and you know, bought a lot of assets to make that work, and it just didn't work. And you know, I was so like over it. You know, even like when I won the championship in Poland, it felt like finally, like can we go home? And I know that's an awful thing to say, but
yeah, well, no, that's the truth.
That's normal. You know, of course, I still enjoyed the moment of lifting the trophy and doing a thing for my team what was made everybody proud. But yeah, I guess the simple answer is what I said. It's the dream what I've always wanted to live, so there's no point complaining about it now, you know. And we're very lucky people to be able to do this, you know. Like, I think the biggest thing in sport in general, I talked about this on a news thing recently, what somebody asked me, and they were saying, like, you know, what did it mean to you to be able to do this as your job? And I think the simple answer is, like, if you look at the world of drifting, there's probably realistically 4 or 5 guys who are doing this as their living, and driving at the highest level, which is insane. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of drivers in FD who are doing that as their job, but like legit, like doing both championships, traveling the world, being able to drive in both spaces, there's not many people being able to do that. So for me, Jack, James, you know, it's a lot of proud moments in that, to be able to say that we're doing both championships. But I think the biggest thing is, for me, it's always the same. If somebody asks me, what's the best advice you'd give me, or what's the, you know, like, what would you tell me to make a difference in my career? And it's not like anything crazy, but I would always say is that, like, if you want something, you literally have to live and breathe it. You can't think about anything else. There'll be days that you can't go to your friends' birthday parties. There'll be so many times as that as a kid, and I think that's something what I was always grateful for, is that I had great direction from Jack. And I think me and Jack just kind of met in the middle. You know, my main goal when I was 15, 16 was like, how am I going to get paid from this? Jack's main goal was, how am I going to build the best race car, what can win the best championship in the world? So we're very lucky that we were opposite, but
Yeah.
it met in the middle very good. And I guess the biggest thing what people probably don't realize is, we travel to both championships, we're living the dream, but if somebody knew the figure that we have to make
Yeah.
by the end of January to make both championships possible, it would actually make somebody sick now.
Yeah, it's
You know,
crazy.
so I think that's the
I have an
biggest-
idea,
Yeah,
but
I think that's the biggest thing is like January and February, you're getting 10 emails, what saying no, you're chasing sponsorship,
Yeah.
you're re-signing contracts, you're making sure, and me and Jack don't have a manager. We have people 100% who support us and do a lot. Jack's girlfriend Corey does a lot for both of our companies. But when it comes to actual sponsorship and like management of getting deals and all that stuff, I have always done that for myself. Jack is similar now in FD, but I enjoy it. That's the other thing what I enjoy. Even though at the start of the year it's the worst nightmare ever, I actually kind of enjoy doing that myself. And but there's a lot of pressure. If you don't make that figure, you're not going, then you have to make a salary. It's what you do. You can't have a normal job because you're on a plane every single day. So it's not like, just make it and pay for it. You have to realistically think like you also need to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's all you can do now. So it's a lot of work at the start of the year to make that happen. But yeah, of course, there's days it gets stressful. But I'm doing what I love, and I would not change it for a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's no point complaining too much about it. I don't think I'll do it until I'm 40. I think I will be completely drained, but I'm 23, living the dream, and I got to be grateful for that to still do both championships, and I hope I can do them for at least another 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely. Well, we all hope that you can. And just, before we wrap it up there in a few minutes, and we're all enjoying the chat here, so we might keep it going for a while, and I'm sure it's a great insight into your life, for the guys at home and any up-and-coming drivers who have aspirations, again, an inspiration is what you are. But in terms of Red Bull, they're a serious sponsor here. They've, we see exactly what they do in terms of extreme sport around the world in motorsport, and I've been lucky enough to work with them myself with the Drift Pursuit, the Red Bull Drift Pursuit events, most recently in Mondello Park. And I have an idea into the inners of the organisation, how fantastic that they really, really are, genuinely. But I mean, what has Red Bull, in terms of how much of a huge boost was that for you to get picked up by Red Bull, and what changes have they made to your life? I mean, what a difference have they made to you?
Yeah, I think realistically, without them, I wouldn't be sitting in the position I am now.
You wouldn't be sitting here with me, Connor?
No, probably not. Or, I don't think it would have been possible to do it as a career. It's a very difficult question to answer because people always revert to like the financial side.
Of course,
but for me, that's not what the answer is about.
No.
Like the company for me was the dream company what I wanted to work with. I remember the first time I got the phone call about the contract when I was 15.
Okay.
15 or 16. I honestly thought it was a prank call. I was like, nah,
Yeah.
it can't be right. Like I remember growing up obsessed with the idea of motorsport. Like I always, had people that I looked up to, and I actually as a kid still am a huge Supercross fan in America. Like I was always obsessed with Supercross and pro motocross, and
you do a bit of enduro as well, I
I
believe.
still try to somehow manage 2 wheels. I'm not great at it now.
You still have to have a go on my R1, but anyway.
Yeah, but I always kind of was obsessed with dirt bikes. I used to follow it. There was really good documentaries on it about athletes when I was younger. It was a sport what I guess was kind of relatable, of like they also go through the same thing of trying to make it. And
extreme sports as well.
Yeah, and but I remember being a kid being like, I would, like if I could wear a Red Bull helmet one day, like that would be, and I'll never, like as many helmets as I get, no matter how cool they are, the first helmet that I got, like what was a legit Red Bull helmet with my name on it, it was like, for me it was, that was all what mattered in that whole deal. I didn't really care about anything else. But I guess to go into more detail of the question what you asked is like, of course they've done a lot for me. They've provided me huge opportunities in my career. But I also would say they have brought massive value to my brand, outside of everything what's involved, but also more of like, for me as a driver, it gives me a lot of, I guess, validation. It brings a lot of value to me that if other companies want to work with me or stuff like that, they see like, oh, this company wouldn't have signed them if it wasn't legit. So I think it has brought a lot of value to my brand. I feel like it is a part of my brand now. I couldn't imagine myself driving a non-branded Red Bull car. I feel like it would look wrong.
Yeah. And how long have you been with them?
think this is my 9th year or
Yeah.
8th year, a long time. Like,
Yeah,
and I'm still
you're intertwined
yeah,
with them.
it's and I have such a good relationship with the company, especially Red Bull Ireland. Like we've
They're
worked a
great
lot-
guys.
great people, you know, and I will always be very grateful as well that they have given an opportunity to care about the sport. You know, now working with IDC, giving events to Irish drifting what they can do. That's quite cool to see that. So I'm very grateful for the company, and yeah, I'm glad that they took a chance on me, and happy to, you know, try do the best I can to present them as good as I can.
Well, we are getting ready to rock, and that's a great answer, Conor, and thank you. It's a great insight. We're getting ready to rock with the top 16, but just before we finish, Conor, while I have you, I think we're all going to be interested to know in terms of Conor Shanahan. What's next for brand Conor Shanahan and Conor Shanahan the men? What's next down the tube? Do you have any plan, or are you going to just ride the wave for another few years and see what happens?
I think ride the wave.
Yeah, good plan.
I don't know. I don't know how long I'll do it for. Like
Forever?
Forever, probably. But I guess there is other stuff what I'd love to do. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that. There is maybe opportunities what is not in the pipeline, but in conversation. I always had a dream to try master other motorsports too. And
But you're not bad in a rally car, I must say.
yeah, that's probably one of the dreams. Maybe, who knows? But
I knew that, so that's why I kind of lit into that. Yeah.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me is like the dream is never maybe to. I don't care. Like everyone asks me, like, oh, you're at the age that you could. If I did win an FD championship, I've been lucky to win Drift Master championships. People ask the question, be like, would you like to beat James's records? Would you like to chase that? And it was never. That was never really it for me. Like, it's not like I'm sitting at home being like, I want to be a 9-time Formula Drift champion. I would love to be. If that's what I'd done for the rest of my life, I would happily love to do it. But I don't know if that's what motivates me. You know, of course, I want to win championships for as long as I do it. But the tally at the end of how many I've won them, that's something what I'll get to whenever, if that's ever a possibility. First, have to try win my first one there. But if an opportunity comes up and I feel like it's right for me, of course I take a chance at it. But drifting will always be Conor Shanahan. I love this sport. I love being here, watching these guys. I love everything about drifting, and I guess in a way some sort of drift nerd, right? That's kind of what we all are. You know, me and Asbo talked on a podcast last week, and literally that's what we are, is just trying to find the art of drifting, find every detail. And that's why I enjoy spotting a little bit this weekend as well, because it gives me motivation to be better for myself, find the little details to help all these people. And yeah, let's go watch top 16, and I'm sure it'll be a good day for Irish drifting again.
Absolutely, Conor. And the beauty of Watergrasshill is you'll be home in time for dinner.
Exactly.
So,
that's it.
Guys, that is Conor Shanahan. Conor, thank you very much, my friend, and we wish you the very best in your chase for both Drift Masters and Formula Drift glory. I'm sure that you will be a champion of both series someday. It's only a matter of time.
Hopefully.
And I'm sure that all of Ireland and beyond will be cheering you on and celebrating with you. So
Heinzie's getting itchy over. I must let him back into.
Heinzie's getting itchy here behind.
I must say, driving suits you better. you're doing a great job, but don't settle for sitting, you know, stay driving, please.
Well, thank you very much, Conor Shanahan. See you in a bit, so I'll mute your mic there for a sec. And that is us. I believe, are we going down to the track for top 16 parade? We are indeed, so thank you very much, Conor Shanahan. And we will see you. You'll be on spotting duty for Jack Caldwell. And just give us a couple of minutes, guys. We are getting ready to rock for our top 16 parade. Alan Hines and myself are going to mic up, and we're going to head down to the track for top 16 parade in a couple of seconds here at IDS round 4, where we're going to have a quick word with the drivers and get straight into top 16 action. So give us a couple of minutes to get downstairs. We'll be right back with you. Thank you very much.
Det viktigste med drifting, det er dekka. Det er eneste vi har som binder bilen til asfalten. Og akkurat som i all annen racing, så er dekka det som avgjør en seier eller en fiasko. Så da vi gikk til Kenda i år, så var det etter flere år med undersøkelser, med tester, med en vurdering av ikke bare hvor Kenda var da, men hvor de er på vei. Det har spilt seg ut ganske bra, kan du si, hittil i sesongen.
Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple back.
Top 16 action at IDS round 4 max attack here in Watergrasshill. Your top 16 are now making their way out onto track here, guys, in battle formation nonetheless. So we're going to get them out here right in front of you guys for a quick word. And we're going to get a little insight into the drivers' minds to see exactly what goes on in the mind of a pro driver before the top 16. So just getting the last of our drivers gridded up here, guys, in front of you here in Watergrasshill. And we're going to have a quick word, myself and Alan Hines, just to get a quick insight into the drivers' minds before we send them out here for battle action on a drying Watergrasshill track. So last drivers over there, I can see Kuba and the guys are lining up. So first of all, we have our top qualifier here, young Jack Caldwell, all the way down from Strabane. Jack, you have the one and only Conor Shanahan, who we just had an interview with there, spotting for you this weekend. You qualified in first position. Well, how confident are you of taking the win? He said that you're on form this weekend. No pressure, buddy.
Well, yeah, when Conor's spotting, like, it's our big help, so it is. So, yeah, we're confident enough. So.
Well, you have this man against you here. He's a fast driver, and I guess it's just going to be max attack from the get-go, is it?
Full ages.
Well, that's it, guys. Top qualifier doing it in the wet as well. Let's hear it for young Jack Caldwell.
Now, Leon Lynch, well, you've got Jack Caldwell, first battle, top qualifier. How are you feeling?
It's not going to be easy, but we'll put up a good fight and see what happens. Hope the rain stays away so we'll have a good clean battle.
Well, of course, Mike, yourself and I were trying to figure out what to call this. He calls it a yoke, but you've got Dean Davy next. Jake Davy,
It's an S145. Yeah, a 180 front, S14 in the middle, and a 15 rear, so kind of like a track, like a Massey 135, but S145. So we move it along to Jake Davy. Young Jake Davy, you were the Pro 2 champion here last year, but it's a new layout compared to the one that you took the Pro 2 championship in such great style last year. What's this new layout like, and how difficult has it been? Because we saw the Pro 2 guys, really struggle with it a bit yesterday, and how different is it compared to the track that you took the Pro 2 championship on last year?
To be honest, I think it's way better. That first corner, like you're full throttle. The last year, you're a bit tentative on throttle, but that first corner is scary too, come flying over the hill like. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a good battle with Jamie. He was going well yesterday, so yeah, let's see how we get on.
Well, absolutely, guys. It's your reigning Pro 2 champion. Let's hear it for young Jake Davy.
Well, up against Jake Davy is the young Jamie Hines. Jamie doing very well today in qualifying, scoring a 19, and back on the West Lakes for today. How are you finding everything?
Yeah, going good. The West Lakes are a big jump up from a road tyre. The pace and everything else is just unbelievably different. But yeah, trying to get the ropes of the track and hopefully have a good battle against Jake. Try and make the best of it. And yeah.
Well, that is our Pro 2 driver, Jamie Hines. Put your hands together for Jamie Hines.
Thank you, Alan. Well, I'm joined here with the man of the moment, Marcus Heinen, making it all the way to the final here and getting on the podium here yesterday in Pro 2, making it all the way up from Pro 2, qualifying quite highly as well, straight into the top 16. No messing from you, Marcus Heinen, qualifying at 4th position, if I remember correctly. There or thereabouts. Marcus, you're absolutely flicking the car backwards here in over the hill in Watergrasshill. You're having fun this weekend. What's your technique, and are you going to throw that out in the battles here against a hard-charging Dara Spencer?
I think I have to turn the brain off for this one anyway, for sure, because this is just going to be records or checkers, I'd say.
Well, there you have it, guys. That is nice and simple there from Marcus Heinen. Round of applause for the Cork man, guys.
Well, up against the local boy is the pro driver, that is Dara Spencer. Dara, I know what you like to drive, but of course there in Luke Tally you had a little issue there and a bit of boost pipes, but it looks like it's all sorted now. How are you finding it heading into top 16?
Yeah, good. The car looks rough, but hey, it doesn't matter how it looks as long as it drives.
Well, Dara, as we know, championship contender quite some seasons ago. Are you going to take it all the way to top step today? Is that your plan?
Well, we'll try anyway and see how we go.
Well, that is Dara Spencer. Put your hands together for the iconic Dara Spencer and his E46. Mike, back to you.
Well, I'm here with none other than the Golden Boy, as I name you. You love that, Dylan. The Golden Boy, Dylan Garvey, the man who can do no wrong in this championship so far, leading the championship still currently. But Dylan, we had a very, very quick chat there. You just said that these conditions are absolutely really sketchy, and you don't know what you're going to get as soon as you fire it into that first corner.
Yeah, you go in there in the wet and you're long handbrake drag into it, but you're just kind of hoping for the best every time you go in there. But hopefully it says dry for myself and Daryl's battle, and we can give a good show.
Well, are we going to see a couple of Dylan Garvey backies though, all the same?
Well, I think we've tamed it back a small bit now, but we'll give it a go and see.
I don't believe you. I know we're going to see backwards entries, guys. Let's hear it for the man who is going to do a backwards entry, Dylan Garvey!
Well, I've got Daryl Barnett next, and Daryl, you've told me a few secrets there, what you have set up for the battle against Dylan Garvey. But do you know what? I won't tell Dylan, so your secret is safe with me. Daryl, great driving today so far. How are you set for top 16?
I honestly don't know. Haven't really got an easy battle here, but at least I know I can push flat out and try my best.
Well, that's awesome stuff, I suppose. Dylan and Daryl, you're going to have a quick chat there, I'm sure, make up a game plan. Mike, back with Davin Leahy.
I am back with the man who is third in the championship currently, Mr. Davin Leahy. Davin, you had a bit of mechanical issues in this machine. This car is such a good car, but it's battling you all year long with reliability issues. Can you tell us, you had a bit of a trek on this morning to get this thing back going?
Yeah, the car's starting to get there finally, but Friday we busted drive shaft and another one this morning. We'd go to Jack Shannon in Ballyduff and get one off on Roach's car.
So you were nearly home at that stage?
Yeah, about 10 minutes over the road, I'd say.
Well, that's it. Devon Leahy, you're third in the championship currently. You're absolutely on it in terms of style. Guys, let's hear for the young man from Waterford, Devon Leahy.
And up against Devon Leahy is Matt Derrin. Matt, bit of contact at top 24 with Dean Davey it is, but you're back together. You said it's the compact GT86 now, or even though it's an E36. Anyway, set up for top 16. How are you finding it?
I think it's a bit lighter now when we're going against the fastest car on the grid. So thanks to Dean Davey for making it for me, and we screwed up to 11 or 12, and we send it behind Davin, and hopefully we can aim at that blue door.
Well, that's exactly what we want to see. Bit of green and blue action. That is Matt Sterling. Put your hands together for him.
Well, I'm here with another man at the moment, Mr. Owen Foran, the man behind Domama Pizza there in Listowel in North Kerry. Owen, you've come up from Pro 2 rookie competition, not just Pro 2, but Pro 2 rookie guys this fella's after coming up from. I mean, you've just told me there, you've confirmed what Alan Hines said, this car is running an old school setup, it's quite laggy, but despite that, you're driving it like a champion. What's it like to just come up from the rookie competition and be on the top 16 parade here with the pro drivers in IDS right now?
Yeah, Jesus, it's unreal to be here, really, to be honest. Like, we were lying under the car there yesterday morning inside pools of water, changing the clutch. We were having serious clutch issues, like, and then it just decided to behave, like, and you know, I suppose at that point it's just like all or nothing. You know, like, you don't really care because the car just started to work, and the nerves just all went out the gate because it didn't really matter, like, because I was just happy to be out there. But look, we'll give it a go now while we're here.
Well, it has to be an element of living the dream right now, is it?
Yeah, I suppose. Hopefully Indy will give me a bit of space there now going into the first corner. Yeah, look, I mean, Jesus, it's great to be up here with all the lads. Like, you know, fuck it. They're like, you going back a couple of sorry lads.
Honest interviews here.
But going back there a couple of years, like, you know, like, you're watching all these names, like, and just be here in top 16 parade with them is surreal, like, so it's great to be here.
Absolutely. Well, a nice honest interview there, and apologies for the language from Owen Foran.
Well, in the lines in the incredible Tian Lee 180S6. You have Owen Foran next, but I'm sure this incredible car has got a few marks left after pointing today. I mean, what are your goals? What are your plans? How are you set for top 16?
Well, I've finished the top 16 now the last couple of rounds, so today I wanted to try and go all the way. I don't want to be going out the top 16 again. It's time to try and step on the podium again.
Well, in the lines, putting it very quickly for us. He's got a podium set. Eyes on the podium today. Put your hands together for the incredible 186 and end the lines.
The end the lines fan club going absolutely crazy. Well, we move it on to the king of style, both in terms of car and driving style. I'm here with Dean Byrne. Dean, not the perfect round for you last time out in Bishop's Cork, but we do have a 5 out of 6 round championship point scoring system going on this season. Now, you really have to get the points on the board if you want to take that championship step. How are you feeling this weekend coming into now the top 16?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm only here for a bit of fun now. The last round knocked me out a bit, but and the first round wasn't great either with the new car, and we're having a good day today. I'm just here for a bit of fun and see what happens.
Well, you're in the backwards entry competition with Devon Leahy there and Dylan Garvey. Are you going to win that competition this weekend?
Oh, easy.
Not a matter, guys. The Style King. Let's hear it for Dean Byrne.
Well, up against Dean Byrne, Jack Mulvihill. Jack, great start to the weekend, a left-hand handshake. I don't know how I feel about that one, but of course, starting off yes 14.5 yesterday, having some issues, still managed to get a top 8 result. Back now in the 350Z, but of course, you've got up Dean Byrne, the incredible monster. Who's going to answer the phone call there? No, denied. But Jack, great driving by you all weekend. Back in the 350Z, heaviest car, probably the least powerful car. How are you set for top 16 against Dean Byrne?
Yeah, Dean's been driving really good all weekend. I better just keep a heavy foot and give it my all. What is found.
Well, that's stuff. That's what we want to hear. Up against Dean Byrne is Jack Mulvihill in the stock 350Z. Put your hands together for the underpowered hero.
Well, I'm here with a man, guys, second last driver that I know very well. We're here with the man, the myth, the legend, the man who's made Ireland his home. I'm here with Kuba, Jakub Krzyzak, currently sitting in second position in the championship. Jakub, would it be the dream to take home the IDS championship this season?
Yeah, so at the start of the year, the dream was to win the championship, but all the drivers are unreal. It's not the easy job to do, but we're gonna try our best. and we'll see where we go. First of all, we go step by step. Jack Mawini is a fantastic driver. I was talking to him like a couple of minutes ago that I'm following his driving even before I started drifting when he was younger and it started in BDC, so I know how good he is. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna do the best and we can go high.
Absolutely. Well, my hand is getting tired from holding the microphone up to your much taller mouth than me. So guys, round of applause for second place in the championship, Jakub Krzyszak.
And championship hopefuls are still alive here for Jakub Krzyszak, but he's got Jack Mawini next. Jack taking down Jason McInerney in top 24. Sights are moving ahead. Have you, what's your plan moving on here with Jakub Krzyszak? Have you some sort of secrets you're going to tell us, or are you going to keep it to yourself and reveal it when it comes to that battle?
No big secrets, to be fair. If I'm right, we have battled before, I'm not sure, but as always it is going to be fireworks, so both of us will push as hard as we can, so I would recommend pulling the phones out.
Well, as you hear from Jack Mawini, make sure to pull out the phones, but put your hands together for the one and only Jack Mawini in the incredible Hamilton Repairs E46.
Well guys, we'll get you back into the cars and we'll get you gridded for your top 16 battles. And thank you very much guys for being in attendance once again here with us in Watergrasshill this weekend for IDS Round 4 Max Attack. And I guess that leaves me say that iconic phrase, Alan Hines. In IDS, gentlemen, start your engines! Always wanted to do that.
Mike, we're back in the tower here.
We are indeed back in the tower here, Alan Hines, and once again guys, if you're just joining us for top 16 action, as I catch my breath after running up the stairs, you're very, very welcome here to IDS Round 4 Max Attack at Adventure Park in Cork World, Watergrasshill. You can see the Red Bull start line there, ready to rock, ready to take the top 16 drivers in Ireland currently into battle action, as we have whittled them down through Pro 2 action yesterday in a wet and dry and wet again competition, and we are ready to rock now, whittling it down to the top 16 in Pro action here, Alan Hines, after having a sketchy qualifying session which saw wet and dry conditions again, a sketchy top 24 which saw wet and dry conditions yet again, and now we have dry conditions finally for the top 16.
Yeah, it's exactly what we came here to see, what we wanted to see, of course. And these guys, they had a mixed bag of a day between wet and dry. Some guys have only got wet driving entirely all day, so I'm sure it's going to throw a spanner in the works for those people. But of course, this weekend so far, it's been incredible driving yesterday for Pro 2 driving. And obviously now today, once again, we just need to see where things lie up.
Yes, indeed, as we get ourselves sorted here with getting the hydration drinks in for the judges, getting some Red Bull cans over for the guys, and getting the cars gridded up here. Kevin, our start line marshal, waits below for the first two battles, which will be, of course, as you saw there, on the top 16 driver parade. It will be young Jack Caldwell, who qualified in first position to face off against Leon Lynch, and we will be followed in very quickly by Jake Davey against Jamie Hines, Marcus Heinen versus Darrell Spencer, Dylan Garvey against Darrell Barnett, Devon Leahy versus Matt Derrin, Owen Foran versus Ian Lyons, Dean Byrne will take on Jack Mulvihill, and last but not least it will be Jakob Chishak versus Jack Mahwini. That'll be a spicy one. That's my new thing, spicy.
You like spicy? That's not a new word though.
I had a spicy dinner last night actually, and it was terribly tough on me because I can't take spicy food, and I was under pressure. But anyway,
okay,
moving on. Moving on. So, as I put up a quick post on the gram to say that we're ready to rock. We are almost ready to rock here, guys, and once again, if you are joining us in the flesh, thank you very much for being here in Watergrasshill. If you're joining us online, thank you very much as well for watching online on the IDS YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Irish Drift Series various social medias, including Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, etc. And thank you to our title sponsors Red Bull and Lucky Day Competitions for making IDS 2026 possible.
And of course, we've got some really cool, interesting news coming out for the final round in Mandela Park coming up fairly soon. So make sure to keep your eyeballs on the social media when that does drop. So very, very cool, some cool collaboration stuff and all of that. So it should be super interesting. Maybe even some changes to a layout as well. I'll throw that. That's a bit of a sneak peek, or leak should I say. But yeah, incredible driving by everyone, of course, today. And I mean, it's just IDS in general. It's just such a high level here. The pro class is high grip, high power, and a lot of speed. And sometimes to be the best, you have to be precise, but also have that speed in the car. And we saw yesterday some incredible chase driving. And this track does kind of reward big dives onto the door. You can't really maintain door-on-door proximity, but you can do some pretty nasty transitions, as is probably nasty. Some transitions, some bumper transitions, and sometimes those direction changes really do are jaw-dropping moments. So as we see the two first drivers up for our top 16 battle, Jack Caldwell doing incredible qualifying earlier today with that 97.4 point run, something like that. And he's up against Leon Lynch in the incredible S14 yoke, as he said earlier in the driver parade. S14.35 or whatever you want to call it. As we have Kevin on the start line. He's going to send the two cars here when we're both ready. And here we go.
Yeah, ready we are indeed, guys. Ready to rock here for the main part of the show. It is top 16 action here at IDS Max Attack, round 4 at Cartworld and Watergrasshill. Highest qualifier spotted by Connor Shanahan. Jack Caldwell leads us into, oh, but look at this crazy stuff straight away from Leon Lynch. I was just saying he's going to lead us into the first corner. Leon Lynch took my breath away with that chase. Crazy dive here from the man in the S145 as we have christened it. But Jack Caldwell as the highest qualifier, putting in a 97 point something run in the wet mad stuff here at IDS. He's doing everything he can, putting down that perfect lead line here, Alan Hines, to make it easy for Leon Lynch, who now struggles a little bit to maintain his angle in the chase position. But look at this from Caldwell. He's perfectly online. He's doing his qualifying one all over again.
100%. And I mean, it doesn't really matter what conditions are in front of Jack Caldwell. He just adapts to it. Look at the initiation from Leon Lynch. Door on door action. Actually tire in the door of that of Jack Caldwell. But he gives some space down the back straight here, as he's supposed to do. Make sure to line up the transition here in the clipping point 3. But Jack Caldwell is giving the lead run that Leon Lynch needs to be able to give that door-on-door proximity. And as we head through clipping point 6 here to take the midline all the way through 7, great job here by Jack Caldwell. Look at that, look at the line down the chute here, absolutely clinically perfect. Through 8 is fantastic, and he transitions into 9 here, and Leon Lynch is back for the door-on-door action across the finish line. Like, we know here that Jack Caldwell is going to have to push super hard here, but I mean, the lead line he provided to Leon Lynch was absolutely insane. It was a 95 point run, all day, every day run, if it was in qualifying. But of course, that doesn't really matter here in battles. What does matter here is obviously the great lead run that we do expect from the driver, but of course, we do need that proximity chase run too.
We do, and Jack Caldwell you know, he's given himself a great chance here to take this battle with that fantastic lead line. Leon Lynch was right on him all the way in, but a couple of mistakes there in terms of consistency and maybe style, you know, as the chase driver just creeping in there towards the end of the run. As we see Jakub Krzyzak making his way onto the track, second place in the championship. And this could be a championship deciding round easily, guys. You know, well, it won't decide per se, but it will definitely give us an idea of which direction this championship is going to take as we head into the final 2 rounds of this epic season that we're having here. Classic season in 2026. And
as the two guys head back to the line, they were just doing a bit of a mini cool-down lap.
Yeah.
A very slow one at that.
Quick cool-down lap, maybe having a word with the spotters.
I'd say so, yes.
Once again, guys, we are present here at round 4 in Watergrasshill on the 29th and 30th of August, of course, this weekend. We're back here with a different layout on the 3rd and 4th of October, and we're back to Mondello Park for the grand finale on the 31st of October and the 1st of November. So get those in the calendar, be sure to visit, and maybe get yourself to the final for sure, because it's going to be absolutely crazy action as you're seeing here. Look at this, Leon Lynch sideways as he leads us into the second half of this run, closely followed by young Jack Caldwell all the way down from Strabane. Oh, great chasing here from Caldwell as Leon Lynch makes life easy for him with that super predictable lead run. Now does Caldwell make the dive on Lynch? He does indeed. He's looking for the door. Now he's dropping back, doing the intelligent thing. That's where the smart money is here, Alan. Just dropping back a little bit around 4, giving the driver a little bit of space to navigate into 7. And now you want to dive here for a second. Right now you want to make the pop through the smoke, and that's exactly what Caldwell did. Great lead line here from Lynch though as well, and lovely formation flying across the line.
This is an incredible battle. I mean, we just have the cleanliness from Jack as the chase driver, just super clean, putting himself in the right places when he needs to be. And then, Leon's chase run is very much all about aggression. But lead run for lead run, I mean, I think Jack kind of edges it a bit, and if you compare the chases, I think maybe Leon might edge it a little bit. But it all comes down to what do the judges prefer? Do they prefer the cleanliness, or do they prefer the outright aggression? And we've seen it in the past here that sometimes just having a little bit more aggression that might not be as clean might edge it a little bit more. So I'm not trying to say here that maybe Jack is going to lose this, but this might push it in a way that it might be a little bit more even than what we may think. We have to wait and see what the judges say about this one, as of course super close.
Yeah, definitely a great battle, but we can announce going through to the Great 8, it is Jack Caldwell who books his place in the Great 8. Just the consistency there, Alan, I think
so. I think the cleaner lead and a little bit of a cleaner, less aggressive chase was enough there for him, and the great stuff there. He moves on into the top 8.
Yeah, so Jack Caldwell, delighted there definitely with that one. Looking very, very good this weekend for, possibly taking the event win and maybe putting a bit of a spanner in the works of the championship of Dylan Garvey and Jakub Krzyzak. Who knows, there's quite a way to go yet. We're just in the top 16 here. Adam Driver on the comments there. Big shout out to Adam, currently over in Ibiza, doing a bit of DJing out in Ibiza, asking me, do I do any 4-rotor impressions this weekend?
You don't, Mike.
We might.
No, you don't.
We might. We'll see.
Definitely don't.
We'll see. We'll see. If we get a James Dean, if we can get him to bring down the RX-7 from up home there, we might. Now we move back to the line, and it is Jake Davey to lead us in the slightly higher qualifier, I believe, in 8th position. Jake Davey, leading us in here really nicely here. Young Davey firing in his 180 SX, very closely followed by the S14 of Jamie Hines. Let's see what Hines can do here now from the chase position. Let's see if he can make the dive. Maybe could be a little bit closer there, but then once again he gets really into formation here and lets himself beautifully set up here through 6 and into 7 in the chase position. Now Davy's making life pretty easy. He said in the interviews that he really likes this layout as Hines falters a small bit now in the chase. And Hines finds himself once again here, Alan, as we saw earlier in his battle with Adam Kelly, on the inside of the track a small bit.
Yeah, I wonder, is he struggling with horsepower there possibly, or maybe some car issues creeping in there for Jamie Hines. Of course, there's only about 420 horsepower in that car, so it's certainly on the lower side here when it comes to a quote-unquote pro car. But look, Jake Davey doing a great job here in the lead run. And you could tell the amount of wheel speed that's in this car. You can hear it doesn't really labour much on the limiter whatsoever. It's just a lot of tyre smoke. And it does make it, I think, a little bit difficult to drive, but he seems to really do adapt very well to it, as Jamie does a really quick transition here, but it forces him into understeer, and in the last transition again in more understeer again for Jamie Hines, and then he straightens across the line. So I think here we have a major advantage here for Jake Davey, but of course it's a little bit too early to call, and we have to wait and see what happens in the next run to kind of really confirm that, of course.
Yeah, well, we do indeed, Alan. It's a game of 2 runs.
Stating the obvious, Alan.
Game of 2 runs, they all drifting.
That's right.
I must correct myself here. The lads in the chat are telling me Adam Driver's in Malta, not Ibiza. I'm sure he told me he was going to Ibiza, but is it Ibiza or Ibiza? It's Ibiza, if you're cool. So I'm sure he told me it was Ibiza.
You told everyone that, so.
Yeah, well, look, he's in Ibiza now because I have the microphone. He doesn't this weekend, so let's see. He might have just been trying to be cool in front of me, but Jamie Hines to lead us in. You know, nice little straight line entry there from Jamie. Not a huge snap to angle, playing it cool here. Very, very closely followed here by, oh, look at this from Davey. He's right on the S14. Look at this, he's in the perfect position to put the pressure on the young Galway man, and he does exactly that. Now lets him transition. Once again, it is the smart money to let the driver transition, not get caught in the pocket there at 4. Exactly what Davey's doing, leaving a bit of room here. Now does he pop down through the smoke? He does indeed, and this is where he wants to make his final dive, his final attack, to give the judges something to think about as they cross the line, but maybe not the proximity Davey would have wanted. And Hines there, interestingly, Alan, he maybe clawed a couple of points back towards the end there.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it's a bit too late to pull anything back. I suppose it was a nice lead run from Jamie, but of course the mistakes in the chase run, I think, cemented that, and Jake did a very good job there adapting to the lead run and just doing enough to, let's say, to pull the rope in his end of the battle, of course. But of course, I mean, I think we're going to get a result here pretty quickly. It's a pretty clear cut in my eyes, at least. A pretty clear call. I don't know why it's a cut.
Clear cut call.
Clear cut call.
Yeah. CCC. That's right. Absolutely. Well, Alan Hunt, you are correct. It is Jake Davey who takes the win and goes through to the Grade 8, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for both of these little, not little, young competitors. I'm the little competitor here. I'm the shortest guy in the grid.
All right, okay.
Usually, maybe Jamie Hines has it on me, but yeah.
All right, okay.
Young competitors is what I meant, but they are young competitors. Both of them, I'd say, a combined age of the mid-30s there, roughly, between both the guys, and combined age of Alan Hines, basically. And we lose Jamie Hines, and we keep Jake Davey, meaning that Jake Davey faces off against Jack Caldwell in the Grade 8, according to my sheet here. Which is a little bit of a confusing sheet, being a top 24, but we're getting the hang of it, Alan.
It's pretty clear cut from this point on anyway.
But you're smarter than me, so. Right, so that means that we have an interesting one on the line here, guys. It is Marcus Heinen up from Pro 2 action yesterday against Dara Spencer, coming back into Pro action after, how long is he out of competition, Alan? Quite
over a year.
Over a year, yeah.
Over a year.
So, you know, Dara Spencer maybe with a bit of rust creeping in there. Marcus Heinen coming in, shiny clean after yesterday's podium in Pro 2 competition, firing in the S13. Oh, but running very, very wide, and Spencer doing a great job in the chase position, choosing to mimic the lead car, knowing exactly that if he went there on the correct line, Alan, it would have resulted in a collision. So Spencer doing a fantastic job, putting himself definitely at an advantage here so far. And once again, look at this from Spencer on the outside line, dropping a wheel, taking the outside line once again in his battle here from Heinen. Saw the same thing from him in his top 24. And Spencer, as I said here, Alan, he is one of the best chase drivers in the country. He can always get this E46 to absolutely leapfrog through the transition.
It doesn't matter what Dara Spencer does, it doesn't matter what car he drives, he'll find a way to maximize it. And he's done a few upgrades to this incredible E46, the MTM Fireplace's E46, and he's really found another level. I feel like his transitions here are incredible. The timing is fantastic. He gives space to Marcus Heinen to make a few mistakes in the lead run, and he's like, I'm going to capitalize on that. I'm going to do your lead run better as a chase driver and still maintaining incredible proximity. Look at the transition down the chute. He slingshots down the chute, and then one more time here for the final transition. It's an incredible chase driver by Dara Spencer. He has no chill.
I was just going to say, it's giving no chill.
Yeah, it's giving no chill.
It's giving
Does
no
it give
chill.
you, did you get any chill?
No goosebumps, but
No goosebumps.
I'll have goosebumps later, but
okay.
Dara Spencer is giving no chill right here. And he
Okay.
never does. But Marcus Heinen said he's going to have to pull out all the stops here, and you know, he's had a dream weekend. The Cork man came up through Pro 2, had his podium yesterday in Pro 2, and qualified very highly here, you know, grabbing himself a position straight in to the top 16 with a 4th place in qualifying. So he's had a great weekend so far. Is it about to come to an end? Well, he's going to have to put in a big chase here if it's not, because Dara Spencer put the pressure on him big time. Let's see if the Cork man has enough to take down the Donegal man as he fires it in over the hill here, drops it down the hill here. Now big elevation change down as they exit zone 1 into 2. Nice transition. Oh, almost contact from Heinen. Heinen's not letting this one go, guys. He's pushing Spencer around the track. He is not letting Spencer get away with this one. Beautiful transition there from Heinen. Now Spencer puts foot to floor and starts to get away in his E46 as Heinen runs very, very wide there around the hairpin. Spencer is gone off into the distance with this one. Is it too little, too late from Heinen? Does he make the dive? He can't do it, Alan Hines. He's trying to make up the gap, but he just got caught in the smoke there, and Spencer running off with this one.
As a fellow S-chassis owner like Marcus Heinen, I'm always scared of battling these BMWs, and look at the pace of Dara Spencer is absolutely incredible. As he transitions down the straight here through clipping point 2, nice job there. And there's a bit of a tap here in the door. I don't know if the judge is going to re-look at that or anything like that. It looks okay from my point of view anyway, from the lead run of Dara Spencer, and I think it's just a nice attack there. And
it's just there it went wrong, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the mistake was from further back, from the contact, and Marcus just obviously lost a lot of proximity, lost, momentum, of course. And yeah, Dara Spencer was looked up and gone, and
he gave Dara a turbo boost.
Yeah, like a speed boost.
A speed boost.
Yeah, like Mario Kart.
Yeah, kind of speed boost there. And indeed, Dara Spencer takes the win, guys, going through to the Grade 8. And Marcus Heinen's dream weekend comes to an end. But big up to the young Cork man there with the 2JS13 having a great weekend. And congratulations to all the Heinen clan there. I'm sure that they'll be delighted with their weekend in the Village Tires S13. But Dara Spencer, the old pro, makes his way on to the Grade 8. And once again, a big shout out to Eddie Power, who always loves calling Dara Spencer the Short King, his good friend, but I won't do that.
Must be a common thing with Donegal based men.
Possibly. Well, big shout out to Eddie and the gang there watching on as well as we go on to our next battle. This one has big championship implications because your championship leader, Dylan Garvey, is taking on the one and only experienced man, Daryl Barnett, slamming their cars up through the gears. Dylan Garvey fires the 180 off the wall. Oh! Barnett tries to stick with him but runs a little bit wide in the process. Now Garvey is absolutely hitting the limiter over the bottom straight. But you know what? Daryl Barnett in the E46 with the M2 body is right there with him once again. Big angle from Barnett matching Garvey as he goes around the track here. You know what? This is a good attack here from Daryl Barnett, who's a tiny bit late on the transition but still manages to stay in formation, but it starts to fall apart slightly now for Barnett, for the Armagh man, as he just about loses the line there, Alan, towards the end of the run.
Yeah, certainly, and I think the lead run from here, Dylan Garvey, is obviously perfect as usual from him. Great job all the way through zone 1 here, and Dal Barnett loses a bit of proximity but catches back up down the back straight here. And the secret that Daryl told me was that he just put a load of grip into the car, which I think was to be expected anyway you're against Dylan Garvey, of course, but Dylan does a really great job down the chute. He goes, nice line through there, a bit shallow there on the transition, I suppose, but does a good job through 8 into 9, wheels in the zone, and Dal Barnett, unfortunately, just a little bit on the inside there, just caught up for a tiny bit of pace and caught up for a bit of positioning of the chase run. So we switch the roles. Dal Barnett's now going to lead us in, and Dylan Garvey in the Fuel Lab 180SX is going to give chase.
Absolutely, guys. So quick announcement there is a second drone out on track, so if you are in attendance here, guys, with a drone, can you please bring it into land, because there is only one drone allowed out on track at any one time, so just in case of any accidents there or whatever, or interfering with the live stream here, of course, which the judges use to see some replays, can you please land your drone and bring it in? And we are ready to rock for the second half of this battle between Daryl Barnett and championship hopeful Dylan Garvey. It is the golden boy versus the man with all the experience. The experienced driver, fires in the BMW almost backwards off the wall, running wide a little bit in the process, very closely chased by Garvey. Look at this from the Kilkenny man, he's right in the pocket. Does he make the dive here? Of course he does. It's Dylan Garvey. He's right there with Barnett. Now, does he let him get ahead to make the dive across the way? He does. Very intelligent driving here, but brilliant lead line from Barnett in the lead position, but Garvey is right there with him. Now, this is what separates the drivers. This next section here is the crucial one. This is what will give the judges nothing to think about. If Garvey can maintain the proximity in the pocket, which he does, and I think that's a great chase there from Dylan Garvey, Alan.
Great job, yeah. I think that basically cements his position in the top 8. I do feel like we have to wait and see what the judges will say about that. Interestingly there, I think Dal Barnett's boot lid fell off the car, leaving clipping point 3, was it?
Not a zero in Ireland.
Not a zero, yeah, but he's also missing the rear bumper. So is there a bit of contact there that we didn't see, or did he lose it maybe going through tree? Maybe he might have touched the tires.
It's just BMW build quality these days, Alan. It's gone terrible.
Well, it's a BMW 2 Series. I mean, you would think it'd be better, but it's an E46.
It's an E46. Yeah, fakey. Fakey.
Fakey.
Well, it's a great car. It's a cool car. We get to see the fuel cell there and all that stuff. But we do announce that Dylan Garvey is the winner, guys, going through to the Great 8, keeping his championship charge alive. And a very hard charging Darrell Barnett putting in a great run there, which would have taken down many drivers, Alan, but unfortunately for him, just, you know, the best in the business is who he met in his top 16.
Certainly so, and that sets up a very interesting top 8 battle though, Mike, as we will have Dylan Garvey and Dara Spencer up against each other.
Wow,
so that
exactly.
could be a championship ending, well, it wouldn't be championship ending, but definitely stalling.
Yeah, one
contention for that of...
it's going to be spicy.
I love it.
Well, another spicy one. It's going to be a double V8 battle here. It's Davin Leahy with the naturally aspirated LS powered versus Matt Darren with the turbo BMW V8. It's GT86 versus E36, and interestingly, the naturally aspirated machine putting down the grip and getting the whole shot on Matt Darren's BMW. They're running off into the distance on initiation. Now they get into the thick part of the action here around the center of the track. Through 4, picking up 5, jumping over the curb there, Leahy with typical Leahy angle, through 6 here and into 7. Now Matt Darren starts to find the door of Leahy. He starts to turn the screw down through the transition. Darren right there on the back bumper as they pop through. Pop through the smoke, and a beautiful finish to the run here from Matt Darren in the 36.
Yeah, we've got LS V8 versus BMW V8. With the M60 of that in Matt Darren, of course, Davin Leahy, great job here through clipping point 2, nice transition here, a bit of a weird snap there, but manages to collect it quite nicely and hits clipping point 4 into 5, great job there by Davin Leahy in the lead run, but Matt Darren is trying to close up onto the door of that blue GT86, and Matt Darren does a nice job down the chute, a bit of an understeer here, and misses clip zone 8 as a chase driver, but does a great job back onto the door once again for Davin Leahy across the line. Great battle there by both guys, but of course Davin Leahy has to return the favour, and Matt has to make sure he has that clean lead run if he has any chance of trying to pull this back in his favour. But of course we'll have to wait and see what way that goes.
Well, we're about to switch them around and find out who is about to take their place in the Great 8. And it is Matt Darren with the angel-eyed E36 to lead us in. Runs a little bit across the track there, shoves Davin a small bit over to the right hand side, Alan. Judges might look at that again. He's supposed to stay within his own 2/3, but overall not a big event there, and they're cleanly into the run here. Now Davin Leahy is going to want to put this one to bed here, because he is a man in 3rd place in this championship, and he wants to maintain that 3rd place, or possibly even jump up. Big angle from Matt Darren around the centre section of the track here, really dialing on the opposite lock to keep the E36 pointing in the correct direction. Big angle once again through 8 from the man from Laois behind Matt's garage port, but huge proximity jump there from Davin Leahy across the line, and a big dive there from the Waterford man, Alan.
Yeah, certainly so. You're dead right with that, Mike. It was an interesting lead and chase from both guys there. The chase run from Davin Leahy was fantastic, as usually is from him, but a few mistakes in both, I suppose, in both positions. But it'll be interesting to see which direction the judges will go with this one, because of course I did love the lead line from Matt Darren, but I don't know, does that better that of the lead run from Davin Leahy? As you put your hands together for Davin Leahy's get out of the car.
Yeah, guys, round of applause for Davin Leahy and Matt Darren as Davin Leahy takes the win with the LS7 powered GT86, and Matt Darren throws his hands up to heaven and says, what do I have to do? But you know what, he's still got the great beard, he's winning. He's the check out Matt Darren there, a drift couple IRL, himself and Katja, very funny there, and putting up some content on Instagram. They both compete in Irish drifting in the Pro and Pro 2 classes respectively, so check those guys out on Instagram if you want to see what they get up to. And that is our first battle in the second half of the bracket set, as we lose Matt Darren and we go back down to the line to a one, which, you know what, it's an interesting battle. It's two hard chargers, Owen 4 in the leggy, the Pro 2 car, the 1JZ powered S13 versus the 2J powered machine of Indy Lions, which was wild in qualifying, Alan.
Certainly so, as Owen 4 in the red, probably purple 186 flicks it in here, Mike, and look at the initiation here from Indy Lions. He's a bit on the inside at least, to give us some space to that of Owen 4, but of course Owen is going to sing it down the back straight here through clipping point 2. Look at Indy Lions lining himself up to the door, but he starts to Oh, there's some major mistakes there from Owen 4 in the lead position, and it kind of catches in the lines. He has to straighten up a little bit. Oh, it's a massive reinitiation once again. Go through clip point 6. Little lead line from Owen 4. He does collect it up a little bit. Back down the chute do they go. And look in the lines. He can do one massive dive to the door. He does not. He's super inside. Mike, this is a very scrappy battle between both guys with some major mistakes here, but I think it's a little bit of a close one here, of course.
Well, Owen Foran could have just gripped this car up like lots and lots in order to, you know, stay in the fight here in pro competition, and it is a big jump up. It does take a couple of events to really get used to the grip of the semi-slick tyres, but as you said, he just didn't get the car slowed down there at 3, and it pushed him very wide at 4, which caused him to cut off the chase run of In the Lines, who didn't actually stay in formation with him, probably intelligently so, because it might have easily resulted in a collision.
Correct.
As Foran kind of got back onto line after going very wide right here as they made their way up the hill. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to that issue, because the rest of the run didn't have quite as many talking points, but right there I think was the mistake from the lead driver. So we swapped them around, guys, and we will of course run them again. Lead becomes chase, chase becomes lead, and our 3 judges, Kieran Hines, Tom Murphy and Conor Falvey, current Drift Masters driver, as well as the man on commentary with me, Alan Hines, another Drift Masters driver.
Trying to do our bit for the series, you know.
Trying to do our bit for Drift Masters,
Yeah.
exactly. And having
Well,
Conor
trying to do
Shannon,
our bit for IDS, I mean.
Conor Shannon, well, doing a bit for Drift Masters, keeping you guys occupied in between rounds, keeping you away from the sim. And yeah, so we're ready to rock here. In the Lions leads us in, the Galway man firing in his 180 in front of the Kerry men's 180. Lots of Kerry competitors this weekend as well. Lovely stuff here from Owen Foran in the chase position, absolutely mirroring the 180 of In the Lions. Lovely stuff once again from Foran here, making the dive. It's much cleaner from Lions though in the lead position this time than it was from Foran. Absolutely critically. Foran goes a little bit early on the handbrake there, gets caught out on the inside of the track and completely loses drift. And you know what, Alan Hines, Owen Foran has had a fantastic weekend, but maybe just at this stage now, the competition level catching him out a bit, maybe the grip that he's dialed into the car, and yeah, he knows himself, he's made the overtake, and Owen Foran, maybe just with the car gripped up, might have been too much of an ask without the experience on these tyres.
Yeah, certainly so. I think I know Lou himself, he just two things happened. Either he lost a bunch of power, maybe due to overheating or something like that, as it seemed to kind of start to really labour up near the end there.
Possibly indeed, yeah, as In the Lions goes to cool down his machine. And interestingly, actually, Owen Foran qualifying in 7th position, dropping straight into the top 16, out qualifying the pro driver In the Lions by quite a long way, who was in 23rd. But maybe the experience
certainly.
Again, you know, Owen Foran's car could have been, maybe the inlet air temps could have been creeping, or he might have lost some power. But guys, round of applause there for Owen Foran as he gets out of his car.
No, he can't even look at the crowd. He's looking over the roof of the S13. He's like, no lads, I can't look. He's embarrassed.
Yeah, he's shaking his head. He's either sad after, he's sad thinking that the guys are burning the pizzas in the oven at home now without him, or else he's you know, maybe that the car is just a little bit overheating or something. And yeah, as Charlene, our finish line Marshall, gets ready to rock and point out the winner as In the Lions joins us, and he is victorious indeed. In the Lions takes the win, guys, as he shakes hands with Owen Foran. Owen Foran shaking his head, something wrong with that car, I think, and bowing out of competition there. So yeah, unfortunately for Owen Foran, bowing out of competition, and yeah, shaking hands and with In the Lions. In the Lions goes through to the Great 8, where he faces off against Davin Leahy. That's going to be a good one. Now we look to the next battle here, and this is going to be an interesting one, because Jack Mulvihill from Kerry also, as I wait for Owen Foran to finish his donuts. Doesn't sound laggy there in first gear, Alan.
No, it sounds about the same as the IS 200.
Fast IS 200, I'd say. Jack Mulvihill from Kerry is in his spare car, which is definitely a VQ35, not 2JZ, and it's definitely max 300 horsepower. He's a Pro 2 driver, and he's facing up against Dean Byrne, who is the higher qualifier, who has 800 horsepower roughly, and this is a driver with look, he's jumping to start. How intelligent here from Mulvihill. He's basically just over a third of the horsepower of the lead car here. Can he make it work? Well, there's definitely a gap after opening out here already on initiation. Can Mulvihill make up the gap? He's cutting the track to do so. It's a huge ask here from Alan Hines in a car which has no right to be even this far into competition. Right now, Dean Byrne putting foot to floor in the lead position. Mulvihill with the tighter inside line on the chase, but you know what? The power and the speed of the S13 of Dean Byrne just looking like it might be a little bit too much here for the 350Z of Mulvihill as they drop down the chute here into the grippy section right down into the middle. But Mulvihill doing a great job here trying to keep up proximity. Alan Hines in a car which is absolutely no right to do so.
Certainly so, as I think Dean Byrne in the, would be wise, takes the grip out of the car, and it does look like he's kind of loosened up a little bit, preparing for that chase run on Jack Mulvihill a little bit later. But of course, right now he needs to get that clean lead run done, and he does a great job here going into clipping point 3. Nice rotation, a little bit of a hesitation there going through 4, as we finally get to see a bit of Jack Mulvihill start to close the gap here as you go through clip 6. And yeah, the line here from Dean Byrne, not a bad job there, goes on the chute. Dean does a good job here, but of course Jack Mulvihill does close up the gap and does a nice snappy transition back into the right area. Let's say he needs to be at the best place he could be with this completely stock VQ Power 350Z.
Yeah, essentially his practice car at this stage is his old competition car, fully livered, looking great here in the grey. And
a nice matching set.
Yeah, a nice matching set of cars there. Unfortunately, the big one just expiring yesterday evening as we're ready to rock now. Can Dean Byrne maintain drift behind the much slower 350Z? That is going to be the question here. Does he give him a gap here to initiate? He does. Look at this, intelligent from Byrne, leaving the 350Z, plenty room to initiate. Says, okay, you can go away with it around the first corner here. I've got plenty of time to make it up for the rest of the run. Now from here on out, Byrne should start to close the gap a little bit. He'll probably want to start closing up a bit here, Alan Hines, you'll agree?
Yeah, certainly, and I think Jack did a good job to close back up the gap. Was it a perfect chase run? No, but I mean the lead run here is, fairly decent from Jack Mulvihill considering the circumstances he's under. But I would expect, Dean Byrne to be a little bit closer. I do think, from this point on, Dean is doing a better job chasing than what Jack did earlier. So I think, I do think Dean knows what he's doing here and is just doing just enough here to make sure he doesn't make any major mistakes. And to be fair, that was very smart and clinical driving there from Dean Byrne.
Yeah, definitely, but I think it's a lot closer than what it needed to be here.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's just, if he did go for the door and Jack had to do a little correction or something, he could slow down quite a bit. Jack obviously, but obviously Dean could be affected by that, and it might affect him quite a bit trying to pick up some pace after that. But anyway,
we're about to find out who goes through as we have Jack Mulvihill and Dean Byrne out of the cars. Guys, round of applause to show your appreciation for the guys shredding the tyres here and keeping the show going at IDS round 4 here. Max Attack at Adventure Park at Cartworld, and Dean Byrne does enough, guys, to book his place in the Great 8. Jack Mulvihill should hold his head high after a fantastic weekend. The Pro 2 junior driver, remember, 13 to 16 years of age is junior driver, so 16 years of age, Jack Mulvihill doing fantastic things there in the 350Z, but just out horsepowered in the end by Dean Byrne's absolute monster of a machine there. And that is it for Jack Mulvihill. So Dean Byrne takes our second last position in the top 16 as we absolutely blast through this battle bracket. And we look now back to the line, and it is another one with the championship hanging here in the balance. Dylan Garvey's going to be looking closely at this one, and it's not an easy battle for Jakub Krzyzak because it is the one and only Jack Mawhinney. A tough battle for the top 16 for Kuba. Will he have enough for Mawhinney? Will Mawhinney have enough for Kuba? Well, we'll know in about 3 minutes time because they're firing in their respective steeds in over the hill. And look at this one, Jack Mawhinney. He is right on top of the S14.9 of Jakub Krzyzak as they make their way over through 3 into 4. Really nice line there from Kuba. Maybe a tiny bit late there on 4, but puts foot to floor now and powers over the straight here in the S14. Jack Mawhinney runs a little bit wide, drops a wheel while he does so. Gets back on angle right now, gives Kuba a bit of breathing space at last because he was all over him like jam on toast there for a second. Kuba not perfect on 9 either. Now puts foot to floor once again and crosses the line. And you know what? This is not the perfect top 16 for Kuba here, Alan.
No, certainly not, but I don't think it was the perfect chase run needed from Jack Mawhinney. He does a really good job chasing through clipping point 1 here. It's probably one of the best we've seen all day so far. And then down the back straight here through clipping point 2, he sets his sights against the door, that Thermotech S14.9 of Jakub Krzyzak. But I don't think it's enough. He still loses a bit of proximity. He dirt drops here chasing. You see a bit of mud flying there in the background, and he does restrict his rotation through that Schron 6, and he has to claw back at the S14.9 of Jakub Krysiak as Jakub does fall out of zone 9, misses it entirely, but collects himself nicely for zone 10. So, I mean, it's all to play for here as we see Jakub going for a cool down lap. I mean, incredibly tough situation to be in here because, I mean, you know that he did a good chase run on you, right, as Jakub Krysiak. You know Jack did a great chase run on you, but I mean, you know you could do slightly better job too, perhaps, because maybe Jack left it a bit on the table.
Well, I'm just receiving news here as well that Kuba, Jakub Krysiak is calling a 5-minute rule here. So, yeah, he's at the end of the battle bracket as well, so I'm not sure if we'll move on to the Grade 8. Looks like we might do. Jack Caldwell will be the first battle of the Grade 8 here against Jake Davey, and we do see Jack Caldwell warming up. But Jakub Krysiak, guys, is the news here. He's taking a 5-minute rule. Trying to get some info on what exactly that is here from Sean Healy. An auxiliary belt. So Sean Healy was pointing to his belt here, and he thought that I was psychic and that, you know, that I knew that. But
he was asking for your belt, which would have been weird.
That'd be weird, yeah. But I'd have given it to him if he was stuck, you know. But
yeah, sitting down, he's standing up, I guess. Makes sense.
Well, yeah, an auxiliary belt there needing to be changed for Kuba's car. He's got 5 minutes to do so and get back out. Maybe that's why he wasn't absolutely perfect in the last corner. We're about to find out, but we go on to the Grade 8, the first battle. It is Jack Caldwell versus Jake Davey. Caldwell will always be the first car into action, the highest qualifier this afternoon here in Watergrasshill. Fires in the S15 over the hill here, but look at this once again from young Davey. Where has he come from? This is absolutely brilliant chasing from the young Sligo man, as he maybe needs a little bit more angle there. He's got the proximity, but very, very straight into 3 and 4 there. Now Caldwell puts down the power in the 700 horsepower S15 Sylvia. Beautiful stuff here from the man from Strabane, but you know, Davey's right there once again with him. He's really in the quarter panel and pops back through the smoke and is right on the left-hand door of Caldwell as they cross the line. Great battle, Alan.
Wow, incredible driving. And look at the bumper is actually missing off the back of Jack Caldwell, so I'm not surprised to see if we will see a bit of contact in this rerun here from the replay. But of course, Jack Caldwell, and clinically perfect again, this lead run, fantastic stuff. Jake, should I say, Davey, making a bit of a straight transition as a chase driver, but collects himself nicely and has to do a big dive again onto the door here through clip point 6 to gain any bit of proximity, preparing himself for the shoot here through clip 7 goes Jack Caldwell. Down the chute they go, and look at the transitions here from Jake Davey, incredible stuff as they do it for the final time through clip 9. Look at the tyre on the door from Jake Davey across the line. Mike, I'm going to say this is going to be it all for Jack. He's going to have to push super hard here if he wants to pull back in back to his side of the his side of the what, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, top qualifier and looking great there. There wasn't an awful lot more he could do in the lead really, but are we getting 5 minutes called here for Davey now? Once again, is he heating up? We're about to find out from Sean Healy as we check the back of Caldwell's car there. So he's
well underneath the back of it.
So Sean Healy has now made a motion of shaking his hoodie here in and out.
Oh, that's a good one.
Notifying that he's cooling himself out.
Yesterday he was doing the arm up and waving at his armpit, which kind of made no sense to me.
Yeah, just maybe that he stinks. I don't know. Maybe that's what he meant. But he just waved his jacket in and out there, looking at me, which I take to mean that he's trying to cool down. So that means that Jake Davey is needing to cool down his machine as he takes a slow lap around the track here. As we always say here, guys, of course, these cars putting out 600-700 horsepower, building the heat accordingly. And Watergrasshill is a notorious track for both inlet air temps and water jacket temps and oil temps as well, unfortunately. Alan, you mentioned yesterday that in your 2J you did see a 1-2 something on your water temperature gauge times.
But that was in the Middle East, and we're not in the Middle East today, so
no, definitely not.
No, and I do think the engine was on the way out, so it was like it was all, all guns blazing.
Definitely on the way out at 125 degrees anyway.
Well, I think it was going before that, but I do think that didn't help.
Yeah, it wouldn't have helped.
No, definitely wouldn't.
Toyota wouldn't be the guys in Toyota and the engineers in 1992.
Certainly not, but also if you're factoring as well, we're kind of in a bit of a valley here as well, right? So it's like there's a few hills around us here, so there's not much crazy airflow. So it does get windy here, but usually the wind blows straight over us.
Well, I think it's more just the wide open throttle sections here and the slow hairpins where the car's not really moving through much air, but it's at wide open throttle for long periods of time. So the cars just get very, very hot down here in Watergrasshill, guys. Down here in the south of Ireland, but we are ready to rock, and young Davy leads us in here. Jake Davy, last year's Pro 2 champion, grazing his back bumper off the wall here in Watergrasshill, but he's very closely followed by young Jack Caldwell. The battle of the young guns here once again, as it tends to be here in IDS. But look at the dive from Caldwell, and he just about manages to make it stick. The aggression mixed with the absolute precision there from Caldwell is something to behold as he sticks it like super glue to the side here of Davy's car. And look at this, it might as well be Dwayne McKeever driving this car, because this is exactly the super aggressive driving style which our top exports from Ireland are known for. And Conor Shanahan in this spotter section for young Caldwell, and wouldn't you know it, because it might as well be one of the Drift Masters guys driving that car, Alan.
Well, this incredible chase run from Jack Caldwell, is it enough to better that of Jake Davies' chase run? We're going to decipher it here. Look at the dive from Jack Caldwell, incredible stuff onto the back wheel, perfect positioning there around clipping point 4, but it does a great job here, mimicking the line all the way back up to clipping point 6 here, and this is where Jack Caldwell comes alive for the remainder of this chase run as they aim themselves down the chute. Jake Davies does a great job filling zone 8 here, and look at the final transition from Jack Caldwell back onto the door, and reminds Jake Davies that he's right there with a little door tap. Wow, incredible stuff there by both guys. It's going to be super, super close. It's going to be, it's going to be down to the lead runs, I feel like.
Yeah, guys, and we can announce that going through to the Great 8 after a pair of epic runs is young Jack Caldwell, who books his place in the Great 8. Jake Davy with a great run there. I mean, he couldn't have done any more, but Jack Caldwell has just got out of bed this morning and said, you know what, I'm going to take a trophy home today, no problem. Maybe first place, let's see how it goes.
I don't think there's anyone stopping him.
No, well, he's
calling it now.
You know,
no pressure, he can't hear me.
Dylan Garvey and Cooper are still in competition, as is Dara Spencer, who will face off against Dylan Garvey. And you know what? I was looking at my sheet, but right now in front of us on track, here's a massive battle, guys. It is two of the most aggressive drivers in the country right now. It is a man back in competition after a year plus hiatus in the form of Dara Spencer from Donegal versus the Golden Boy, Dylan Garvey, leading this championship just in front of Jakub Krzyzak. Dylan Garvey leads us in as the higher qualifier. This one is going to be absolutely crazy. Watch this one, guys. Dylan Garvey in the Fuel Lab S13 fires it in once again. Absolutely perfect proximity to the wall. Spencer runs very, very, very wide. Gets caught a little bit on initiation there. Garvey, he can't hang with Garvey. He can't hang with the angle and the speed of the Kilkenny man. Once again, Spencer, and it all falls apart from Dara Spencer running wide. Alan Hines, was this just that he came up against the best in the business and pushed 5% too hard?
I mean, it's impossible to know, Mike. I think there could have been something weird went on initiation with Dara Spencer. I don't know if it was a mistake from him, but it all started to fall apart from dropping the wheels outside zone 1. And so we're going to have a quick look here for the replay and see, can we find anything that went wrong? It was a bit of a wheel lock-up. He does push a bit of understeer, drops 3 wheels, definitely, possibly 3 wheels or 2 wheels at least. And I think that was it. I think by this stage he decided to do one mad dive, and it didn't really work out. He looped the car around. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really know. We can't really see much because of all the tyre smoke, but I assume Dara decided to go off hell for leather, and unfortunately he didn't pay out.
Well, the first thing we have to look at here is the lead car for any fault. Right. And I didn't see anything.
No, and I don't even think it's worth suggesting, because I don't even think there was anything major there.
No, absolutely not.
It just looked like Dara pushed it super hard and it locked the front wheel a bit too much, pushed a bit of understeer, fell off the track.
Yeah, I think he just pushed. He knew that he had to push right up to the door. Maybe the pace of Garvey just was so much coming up the straight that Spencer, powered into the first corner there and just maybe got caught out. Alan, you've done it. I followed many a driver in here myself, and sometimes some guy's so fast in front of you that you just push it that extra 5, 7, 8 miles an hour on the way in. So, you know what, it's all to play for here still if he can force a 0. Dara Spencer, all he can do here is put in a perfect lead run and hoping that Dylan Garvey makes a mistake here, but Dylan Garvey's an intelligent driver. But you know what, he's giving it no chill here. He's using it as more practice for his final 4 battles should he get that far. And Dylan Garvey with a bit of a mistake there, dragging the handbrake, maybe flat spotting a tyre there for a second. But Dara Spencer is ultimately at a huge disadvantage here, in all books at least. doing a great job in the lead run so far, but it's going to be too little too late if this run continues the way that it is as they drop down through the chute. Oh, Garvey running a bit wide there, catching the tyres I think for a second, possibly damaging his rear left suspension there, but overall I think still Dylan Garvey will be progressing here, I would say, Alan Hines.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly safe call to say that. Of course, yeah, a bit of contact with the tyre of clip 8 does. Dylan Garvey ran a bit wide, got a little bit lost in smoke, it does look like, but I don't think that is enough to turn the call towards Dara Spencer or by any means. So I think we have a decision on this one, Mike.
Yeah, I would say so. So guys, round of applause for Dara Spencer and Dylan Garvey. And thank you very much, guys, for your appreciation. As we always say, this championship and this sport takes quite a lot of money and time, more than what you'd expect, Alan Hines. And it is nice to see your appreciation here, guys, as these lads are having the time of their lives, and Dylan Garvey continues having the time of his life because he wins the battle going through to the final 4. Fantastic stuff for the Kilkenny man, who continues his championship charge here, and you know that is going to be a tough opponent put behind him in the form of Dara Spencer, who ultimately made it a bit easy. But Spencer, you know, Alan, I think I understand his thinking there. He said he's coming up against the best in the business, he has to go to 105%. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, okay, he tried.
Certainly so.
Well, look at this, Alan. Top 4. Who is it? Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
Should we say it yet?
We can't say it because Dylan Garvey is going to be taking on Jack Caldwell in the top 4, guys. So yeah, wow, that's going to be interesting. We go further forward anyway into the next battle, and it is none other than Jakub Trishak against Jack Mawhinney.
Second half of the battle, Mike.
Second half of the battle, yeah. Absolutely. So, ready to rock. Kuba calling a 5-minute rule. Oh, Mawhinney running very wide here, and Kuba straightening up behind him. Mawhinney running really wide there, just leading Kuba off track. I think it's going to be advantage to the chase driver in this particular situation. Let's see what happens for the rest of the run, though. It's not over yet as Mawhinney now powers his BMW over the straight. Kuba's falling back into formation very quickly, though. And Mawhinney now collects clipping point 7 beautifully, drops down the chute here into 8. Kuba falters a little bit now, looks for the door once again of the E46. And remember here, guys, Kuba had a great lead, but ultimately just didn't fill out the last zone. But I think overall here, Alan, with the mistake there from Mawhinney on the way in, it's a very tough battle for Kuba for the top 16, but I think this mistake here might just be the deciding factor.
Yeah, I think you're bang on with that one, Mike. I think, yeah, obviously Jakub Trishak doing a good job there, just adapting, but of course I think the battle was kind of set in stone there with the mistake from Jack Mawhinney, especially on clip 1. And I think Jack Mawhinney for the rest of this run just a bit angry and just powering around the place. And I mean, this is incredible driving for him, but unfortunately it's a bit too late to be displaying that, as Jakub Trishak is just hanging around, making sure the car is in the right places, not making any major mistakes or anything like that. That would score him a 0.
Absolutely. So we will make it official here. Jack Mawhinney, one of the top drivers in the championship, but not enough for Jakub Trishak this time, guys, who advances to the Great 8 in our last battle as we went back to the top 16 there just to finish out our battle bracket. And Kuba takes the win. Jack Mawhinney, the man from Derry, will head back up the road with his head held high, but just a bit of a mistake there on the lead run, knocking him out of competition of the top 16 here at IDS round 4 max attack, as we now get an idea of our, you know, our top 8 battle bracket. The rest of it is looking interesting here. Devon Leahy now takes on In the Lions, and then we'll have Dean Byrne versus Kuba. So we'll have to get Kuba's car turned around there pretty quickly, tired up, fueled up for his battle, which will be right after this one. And these battles will of course decide the last few drivers in the final 4, where we already have a young Jack Caldwell to face off against Dylan Garvey. Now this one is going to be crazy. It is Davin Leahy who sits in 3rd in the championship versus In the Lions, who has come through with sheer aggression today. Very aggressive driving from the Galway man. It's Waterford to lead in Galway, and it's a lovely entry there from Leahy, who ultimately just runs a tiny bit wide, followed by Lions. Nothing major from either driver. They're still both in it. Look at the pace of Leahy in the GT86 with the LS7. Runs a little bit wide, a bit too much pace there. Very nicely followed by Lyons, who takes the inside line there, making up a bit of proximity in the process. So Lyons looking good here in the chase, looking very good in the chase, in fact. Not doing a whole pile wrong here. Leahy making life easy for him at this part now as he puts foot to floor and absolutely powers the GT86 through the centre section here as they put foot to floor once again and cross the line, Alan.
Wow, Davin Leahy is fast. Yeah, look at the flick initiation with Davin Levy. Nice job there. Puts the 2 wheels in clipping point 1 as he should do. And look at end of lines. Finally closes up the proximity. Does drop a few wheels as a chase driver, but does a great job through clipping point 2. Into clipping point 3 goes Davin Levy. Rotates the car nicely through zone 4 as they power up the hill. Once again, it's the second hairpin through clipping point 6. Nice midline through there as end of line finally gains some proximity, but I think it's a little bit too late. Down the chute they go. And yeah, in the lines, transitions a little bit in the mid-track as Davin Lee, he pulls away from in the lines across the finish line there. It was super interesting ending of that run. I think, Mike, like, it's going to be interesting here because, of course, we know that Davin Lee, he can pull incredible chase driving out of the bag, but I don't know does he need to display it today or just yet. Is he going to save it for the bank for later, or is he going to reveal it right now? I suppose we'll wait and find out.
Yeah, well, he'll be on to his spotter there, getting that information to see exactly how hard he has to push as Kevin sets both cars off from the line and they start to pull the gears here up the straight. Look at the front of In the Line's car popping up as he pulls gears. These cars are so hooked up and so fast, guys. They're motorbike fast in terms of acceleration. But Davin Leahy in the ever grippy GT86 is touching the left foot brake, holding back that crazy horse behind. Look at this, the grip behind In the Lines with the grip on the GT86 here, Alan, is absolutely nuts as it really goes forward when Davin hits the throttle. Now In the Lines does everything he can in order to open up a gap on the young Waterford driver, but he can't shake him. It's a good lead line here though from In the Lines, Alan Hines. I mean, he's leaving the door open for a win here, and Davin Lee, he a little bit on the inside of the track, contact across the line, and he pushes In the Lines off the track. And was that just at the finish line, Alan, or was it before?
Definitely before. It will be interesting to see. I mean, I was watching Davin Lee in that position, so I wasn't really sure if it was a lead driver fault or not. It didn't look like it was Davin Lee's fault, but we'll have a quick look here shortly. Great job here from Davin Lee adapting to that lead run. I don't think In the Line's lead run is as clean as Davin Lee's was previously, so up until this point I do think Davin Lee has a sizable advantage during this run here as In the Line's heads down the chute. Nice bit of angle adding there before the transition. Through 8 he goes. Great job there. Final transition. In the Line's looks really good here in the zone, and ooh, it does look like he kind of shuts down or something odd there, so I don't know exactly what went wrong, what went down there, but
yeah, I mean, do drivers tend to just slow up? Is there a slight lack of grip there, wet or dry at the end?
Possibly. Yeah, it's hard to really know. I've driven slow, Mike.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen quite a lot of runs.
That is true. Yes, I mean that is true. We did see it earlier when it was wet as the judges started to watch the replay system. We see another replay from the live stream.
Yeah, so guys, if you are here in attendance, you can see what we're seeing here. Get out the phone, have a look on the YouTube and see these replays. The judges are scrutinizing this one pretty tightly. As In the Lines with that really nice lead run and down through the chute there, dialing on the angle beautifully. Like Leahy there, not even quite matching him through that section, but it's right here now is the section. Does Leahy just make the dive, or was Lines going off track anyway? We'll have to watch back the replay once again.
I mean, it's a perfect arc, this last zone, so once you enter it, you should be able to finish it perfectly. So it does look like he has a wheel off before there's contact, if I'm honest with you. Like, almost like, yeah, it's too hard to speculate, really, isn't it?
It's tough from that angle with the tire smoke, but
agreed.
Watch the rear, just watch his rear spoiler, watch his rear light in relation to the white line.
Yeah.
He's right over the white line now, just inside it maybe. Now, let's see from here on. You have to watch the spoiler because you can't see the light anymore, but look, the spoiler is just starting to go off track there. Oh, it's tight. There's very little in it.
Yeah,
very little
there
in
is.
it.
I mean, look, we have to factor in as well, Davin is quite a bit inside. He's not even a wheel close to the zone, so he's on a considerably faster line as you have a smaller circle he's on.
And this is pretty much the battle-defining issue here, right?
I would think so. I think up until this point, Davin had a pretty decent advantage. It just depends on whether the judges want to point it in the other direction for this one. So,
yeah, I mean, it might not be completely battle defining, but it is the biggest issue of the battle, right? It is the biggest talking point.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, it could certainly point at one direction more than the other. You know, it could flip the script, let's say.
Yeah.
I'd just be wondering, you know, was Davin so much quicker? Was that possibly what caused the contact? But I mean, in my opinion, it looked like that Enda was a little bit on the wide side, leaving that zone. But anyway, yeah.
Well, we'll see. And once again, thank you to Lucky Day Competitions and Red Bull for making IDS 2026 possible as we wait for the judges' scores to drop in. And we do have a winner, and it's Davin Leahy who takes the win. keeping his championship hopes alive. In the lines, just faltering there at the end, and I think the judge is deeming that the lead car there just ran off track a little bit, and that Leahy made up the proximity by going off track. So, yeah. So very, very close one there. And Kieran Hines, would you like to explain that one? Quite a close battle. Was it just that In the Lines ran off track at the end and it defined the run?
I think like that, Davin had that battle won right up to that last corner, and you know, obviously that could have changed things. So we had a really, really close look at it. It appears to us that I mean, if you're following the line, there's a white line painted. It eventually joins up on the existing along to the edge of the concrete. That's where it was painted over the weekend. But and there's on the white line for the first part of it, and just as we're getting near the end, he starts to drop off it, and he's pushing out. He goes over the line before Davin actually touches him, and I suspect he's actually heading off the track. Now, it's not clear in the video, but he could have been angling up to stop himself from going off, or maybe starting to come off throttle a little bit. I'm not really sure there. Just as they come to the line, there's contact. You know, we don't feel that was Davin's fault. You know, he was keeping proximity. So based on that, even if we don't factor it in as an error from either side, Davin still took it because he had the advantage before that ever happened. And I can't, and you know, we can't blame Davin for that contact. We feel that Enda was actually starting to go off the track.
Thank you very much, Kieran Hines. So just clarifying that one there, and the live stream chat agreeing with us as well on that one, that yeah, lead driver just running a bit wide. So interestingly here, guys, Jason McInerney and Jack Mawini in 4th and 5th place out of competition. Stephen Halferty in 6th, not here this weekend, dropping his 1 round. Declan Byrne not here this weekend, dropping his 1 round. So Davin Leahy is still in competition in 3rd. Jacob is still in competition in 2nd, and Dylan is still in competition in 1st position. So this championship is still wide open in terms of the guys at the top, who are opening out a gap now in the rest of the field. But it is, again guys, it is 5 rounds out of a 6-round championship, which will count at the end. And that means that you can drop around, and you can still be in the hunt at the very end in Mondello.
And there's a few things as well to mention. Even those few drivers that did drop this round, you've got Jake Davey in the lines and Dean Davey all below them, so they possibly might leapfrog him perhaps. I guess we'll have to wait and see. He's looking at standings on his phone. Yeah,
exactly.
And yeah, of course, one thing I also saw as well, Mike, and I pointed out to you, it's starting to rain again.
It's starting to rain again, guys. Yeah, we were just waiting to bring you that info before the next battle, but right outside the door, we can see here it is raining, and raindrops are falling. Not an awful lot of them, but enough to definitely grease up the track here a little bit. And that is going to throw a spanner into the works for the last battle of our top 8, or our great 8, which will be crazy. It's Dean Byrne versus Jakob Przyszak, and there's no easy battles here, Alan. When you get to top 16-ish, especially in pro action, there's just no easy runs. We saw, I mean, Kuba had to come through Jack Mawini. Like, he's going to take out anyone on his day, Jack Mawini, you know. Like
P2
so
versus P5, let's say, or P6 in the championship at the time, at least anyway, so yeah, tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So it will be Dean Byrne versus Jakob Przyszak, guys. And if you have followed us from qualifying from yesterday, thank you for staying in touch with IDS. It's a great championship with a super competitive Pro 2, which was a little bit different yesterday due to the track layout and the conditions, a bit sketchy. But I think the cream of the cream definitely rose to the top. And you know, we saw some of those guys put in a great couple of runs to get themselves straight into qualification today, straight into the top 16. The likes of Marcus Heinen and Owen Foreman, you know, booking their place instantly into top 16 with a top 8 qualifying position. So it just goes to show the depth of talent that we have. And it's going to be Jack Caldwell to face off against Dylan Garvey, and it'll be Davin Leahy to face off against the winner of this battle. Now, interestingly, if Davin Leahy, if Kuba wins this, which he mightn't because it's Dean Byrne, you know, nothing is for sure in any battle, never mind this one. But say Kuba should win this one, and if Davin Leahy takes him down, he still could actually leapfrog, or he could, you know, at least really close the gap to Kuba in this championship. Yeah. So it's very interesting in terms of the championship. The only clear leader so far is Dylan Garvey, but Kuba is actually still right behind him because Dylan didn't get any qualifying points as such on Kuba. Yeah, so it's still all to play for, and if Davin Leahy has a big result, and who would bet against him, you know, he could be right up there with the guys heading into the last 2 rounds. So as you can see, guys, the rain is falling here very heavily now all of a sudden in Watergrasshill. No envy for the drivers on the line. Alan, you'd love to be out there. I would love to be out there. You'll be in Drift Masters in the final in a couple of weeks' time. I don't get that privilege, but I don't think either one of us envy these two fellas sending it in here down the hill in Watergrasshill in these conditions. We see the wheel spin already creeping in, and Dean Burns 180 SX. Jakob Krzyzak in his 14.9 is chasing him down. He's right there with him. Tire smoke is a thing of the past. It is wet and wild here all of a sudden, Watergrasshill, and what a great attempt from both drivers here in instantly changed conditions as they make their way now through 3 into 4. Lovely inside line from Kuba, just placing his inside wheel on the inside of 4 there. Now Dean Byrne starts to get away a little bit over the straight here and dials in the angle on the handbrake on his 180. Kuba sticking right there with him though. He's like a band-aid on a cut is what he is here. He's sticking on there, and Dean Byrne fills up 8. Lovely line here from the lead driver, backs the 180 into 9. Kuba's right there with him though, and through 10, and Kuba making up the gap as once again we see a little bit of lack of grip on the lead line there at the outside and across the line.
Incredible stuff from Dean Byrne. I have to give him credit. I mean, that's an insane lead run considering that this is probably his first wet lap and the first car on the track in the rain, considering that we had about maybe 20 or 30 laps here in the drive in the last hour or so. And wow, incredible lead run. And Jakob Krzyzak, of course, having to adapt to that and not really sure how hard Dean Byrne is going to go. And so when I think he kind of realised pretty quickly he's going to have to push super hard here as Dean Byrne collects clipping point 6 into clipping point 7 as he goes right now. Pretty decent job through there, to the middle line at least. Down through the chute they go. No hesitation there from Dean Byrne. Great job there. Nice job from Jakob Krzyzak for the final transition. And yeah, I mean, super close battle, but of course, I mean, that's only one half the run. Of course, we still have to wait and see how Jakob Krzyzak is going to treat this lead run, and can Dean Byrne replicate that chase run?
Well, look at the burnout box is actually still dry. Pretty much, because we saw lots of tire smoke and you're not allowed to do a standing burnout here, so
I still think they did it.
yeah, they probably still did it, yeah. But you know what? Who cares? But Kuba fires it in. Championship implications for this one. Dean Byrne's on the inside here a little bit, finds himself in the wrong position on track, but overall does make it work just about. Kuba now with that perfect lead line, just as we saw Byrne giving him in the lead position. Byrne needs to close up the gap here if he wants to take his place in the final 4 to take on Davin Leahy. Kuba slowly exits. Oh, and a big straight in there from Kuba. The car's just gripped up as he found a lack of grip and did a huge amount of grip considering the conditions. So a couple of mistakes there from the lead driver. Byrne is on the inside, Kuba's on the correct line once again. Drops down through the chute. Kuba maybe just braking a little bit there into 8. Byrne is on the inside line, completely sacrificing 8 as a result, but now finds the door of the Polish man and crosses the line. A couple of talking points there, Alan.
Yeah, I think Jakob had a generically closer chase run for the whole run, but of course Dean I think had a slightly better lead run, but I mean very close, Mike. I mean it's impossible to really decipher them and say, oh, this one is definitely better than that one, because they are so close. I do think Dean Byrne given plenty of space coming through clipping point 3, but really does a good job to get back into the pocket here. And Jakob does straighten up a tiny amount, but I mean, you could argue that is it really even enough to duck considering the conditions and the circumstances you're under here. You're on low angle in that area anyway, but he goes through 7 here, really good job. Down the chute he goes, does a good job to fill 8 as well. And Dean Byrne in this area is kind of like in no man's land in some of these transitions, but does a good job to push him across the line, does Dean Byrne on Jakob Krzyzak.
Well, it's going to be down the drain if we get any more rain here, because it is absolutely coming down here now, guys. You can even see it here on the camera as we wait for the judges to watch the replay. I was going to say we wait for the judges' scores to drop in. Lovely entry there.
The lead run now to Dean Byrne.
Yeah, lovely entry from Byrne right on the wall there, but I'm biased. I love a good wall run there, and it's great to see it. But overall, for the rest of the run, we're going to have a look here and see what the judges are watching. So beautiful from Kuba on the inside there. Really liking him taking that perfect line as the chase car. Now Byrne just hangs on to the handbrake there, giving Kuba a second to get back on the door. Kuba's sacrificing 7 there for proximity, sacrificing 8 to a point, but I think Byrne was further on the inside of the track, but then Kuba's very much on the inside of the track, looking for the door, heading for 9. So
it's very similar.
Yeah, it could be one more time here, guys. I'm not sure. It's a very close call, and the judges are showing that by watching the replays. So let's see. Wait, no, I didn't say anything yet, guys. I think they heard one more time, but we do have a winner. It is Dean Byrne who's the winner, guys. So Dean Byrne gets the win. Kuba, you can see the disappointment on his face there. He knows that that's a big scalp out of his championship. And Dean Byrne taking the win, taking down one of the championship favourites there in the form of Jakob Krzyzak. And that sets us up for our semi-finals, where Devon Leahy will face off against Dean Byrne. And yeah, tight decision there, Alan.
Yeah, certainly so. And yeah, Dean Byrne's first top 4 of the appearance this year. That would be nice for him. Unfortunate there for Jakub Kryszczak. Look, this could be, he's already probably actually going to use Bishop's Court as his drop round, so this will be his worst scoring round this year, I should assume.
Well, it's still a great 8, but this guy across the way now, he has his toughest challenge to date. If Dylan Garvey wants to put one hand on the trophy of IDS champion 2026, he has to take down this man, the top place qualifier, Jack Caldwell. Conor Shanahan in the spotter zone for him. Let's see if he can take down the young man from Strabane. Still just 16 years of age. I mean, Jack Caldwell, what a talent, but he has a tough challenge in the clipping point, cutting Dylan Garvey through 2 there to get through. Beautiful lead line there now from Caldwell, and Byrne is, or sorry, not Byrne, but Garvey is right there with him. I'm getting too excited, Alan. There's lots of S chassis and there's lots of action happening here. Oh, look at this from Garvey, almost cutting the nose off of his S13 as he looks for the door once again of the S15 of Caldwell. He finds it. Look at this, guys. Great stuff here in the rain. Round of applause for both drivers as they battle the conditions here in Watergrasshill as the rain absolutely buckets down here.
Certainly so, and I think Jack Caldwell, again, another fantastic lead run he's pulled out of the bag. Great stuff by him, doing exactly what he needs to do. And Dylan Garvey knowing exactly what to expect from Jack Caldwell, considering he's seen the consistency that this kid has. As he sends it to the door, does Dylan Garvey. Nice job there, and follows him up. Really close transition here from Dylan Garvey as they decel here into clipping point 6. And look at the line from Jack Caldwell. He actually pulled a bit of a gap from Dylan Garvey, which I think catches Garvey out by a little bit. I think Jack Caldwell actually has the speed for Garvey here, if anything. I think he has a bit more pace on him as they transition one final time in the clipping point 9 into clipping point 10, and a great job by all of them.
Yes, the rain even starts to come into us here in the commentary booth. We're going to have to batten down the hatches a bit because it's raining sideways here in Watergrasshill. As we swap them around, Dylan Garvey's on the line. Jack Caldwell cooling down his steed in the back there, just maybe having a word with his spotter, just waiting to get going and waiting for his Tims to drop down another degree or two maybe, as the fans will be working overtime there in his car. The wet is tough on cars as well because they tend to sit on the limiter much more than in the dry. The lap tends to be a little bit longer as well. It's slower obviously, so it takes more time on the limiter throughout the course of the run. But Kevin, our start line marshal, gives him the thumbs up. Caldwell starts to move before Garvey. He's entitled to do so as the chase driver. Now Garvey puts foot to the floor, absolutely pins the accelerator pedal down here in his 180SX, and both drivers fired off the wall. A beautiful entry here at round 4 of IDS. Garvey now on that outside line, runs a tiny bit wide there. Caldwell deals with it very well, cuts the track just like Garvey did in the reverse run. Now Garvey gets the 180 slowed down here through 4, just collects the edge of the zone as Caldwell is right there with him now, gives him room to transition. Caldwell will make the dive here once again, and he does indeed get on the side and on the quarter panel of the 180SX. Garvey could be in trouble here. Are we about to see Garvey and Cuban knocked out in very close succession? Oh, look at this one, Caldwell. Conor Shanahan is going to be delighted with this one into Spotter's Tower. Great run there from both drivers as they crossed the line. Alan Hines, wow. Jack Caldwell has had his Weetabix this morning.
He has indeed, and the pace just got faster there's the chase run. I think up until this point it was pretty even Stevens throughout the whole run, but I think Jack Caldwell definitely pulled the aggression card out of his sleeve and definitely applied that. But of course, for the remainder of this first half of the run, you were right, Mike, a bit of a wobble there from Jack Caldwell. And he did miss that clipping point 2 as a chase driver, but of course Dylan Garvey doing the same mistake as a chase driver as well. The power up along the hill here. I think up until this point Dylan Garvey had a cleaner chase, but look at the aggression from this point on from Jack Caldwell, putting that front bumper of the S15 onto the door of the Fuel Lab 180SX of Dylan Garvey. Great time in the transition. Look at the dive back onto the door. Incredible stuff. And I mean, this is the thing. We have leaps of aggression of Caldwell, and we've got the cleanliness of Dylan Garvey. It's going to be an interesting one to see which way to go.
It will indeed, Alan. I mean, it's going to be a huge one for the championship here. Jakub Kryszczak is going to be looking on, very interested, and it's Jack Caldwell, guys, who takes the win and takes a place in the final. Dylan Garvey bowing out in the top 4. Cooper's going to be delighted with that because it's not so many points dropped to his championship rival, but Jack Caldwell is a man on a mission this weekend, and he's qualified in first position, and who's going to bet against him for taking home top place here?
I'm not, Mike.
No, I'm absolutely not either. So he
I was
takes,
right.
yeah, takes down Dylan Garvey there, so crazy stuff here at round 4. Max attack of the Irish Drift Series 2026 here, guys, as the rain comes down hard and fast here in Watergrasshill. The end of the summer showers coming here very, very hard in Ireland, giving us nothing but entertainment.
Yeah. Catching up for the the few weeks and months of summer that we had.
Yeah, the couple of weeks. Well, no, to be fair, we did have a good summer, but we're paying for it now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
catching up.
Absolutely catching up on last time. The weatherman is catching up for last time, and I was really watching the weather, Alan, on a personal note to try to maybe bring the bike down to this event, because I'd be down here.
Look at that.
I think I should have. Yeah, I'd be down here and just over an hour from home, and it's nice being on the bike and watching the weather, seeing would I get a couple of windows to get down here and up without getting drenched. And I said, no, this ain't going to happen. And sure enough, pretty good decision, I think.
Yeah, I think you would have been sleeping here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely would need the wet gear out there, the old Oxfords out. So crazy weather here in Ireland, guys, making drifting here, very, very difficult. But great job there from both drivers. A great run from Dylan Garvey. I mean, he did so well there in the conditions. But Jack Caldwell he just seemed, even in the interview at the top 16, he just seemed so cold.
Yeah.
I'm here, probably going to win it. He's just really not excited. He's 16 or 17, I'm not sure. The graphic says 16. I think he might be 17 at this stage.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to take anything away from it, from his performance. He's got a lot of great people in his corner, which I think gives a lot of confidence. Do you know what I'm saying? To be able to focus on what you need to do. He has a great crew people there working on the car. He's got a great spotter. I mean, he's really trying to hyper-focus on driver development here. And I think he's approaching it the right direction. And we're seeing it already pay off with just possibly maybe the second round of this, this kind of new attitude. And yeah, I mean, incredible stuff. I mean, I remember battling against his brother in this very car some years ago. Ryan Caldwell, yeah, who's now competes in rallying stuff here in Ireland. And yeah, I mean, even then, the two Caldwell brothers, I would love to see the both on track at the same time. I'm sure there'll be fireworks. But Jack is just absolutely driving like a god today, and it doesn't matter what conditions are thrown in front of him. He adapts to it. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. He does not care. I think this guy could win Drift Masters tomorrow if he really wanted to. He has the ability and the car to do so, and it's incredible stuff.
Well, guys, Alan, if you want to, could you even open the door there for a second? You can hear the rain here. It is absolutely bucketing down here, guys. It's to the point that we might even have a situation where the puddles of water are a danger. You want to get the sock on the air filter. You want to get onto the K&N stuff there and get the filter sock on, because you could be having a situation here where we're taking in water into the inlets and the engine hydrolocks and bins of rod, because there's standing water now coming on track of crazy levels all of a sudden. But the show will go on as soon as we have cars back out for our second semi-final between Davin Leahy and Dean Byrne. And Hannah in the comments there, yeah, it is definitely better to have a blankie, some tea and a good book. I'll be having 2 of 3 of those tonight. I'll be having 2 of 3 of those tonight, definitely. And I think the last one, instead of the good book, I'll have a bit of Call of Duty maybe later on. A bit of COD. Sir Cods a lot is my tag there. SIRCODSALOT if you want to add me. And yeah, definitely tea and blankie weather. And Pac-Man T there. Question for Alan, Mikey, do you think that part of the Irish quality is having to drift so much in the rain, and the level of drivers just bring everyone to the next level? It's a good question. We'll field it real quick before we get to this battle. Yes and no. I think yes, in that the rain definitely makes you think a lot more. And I had a 12-year run, I think, myself uninterrupted, and the wet conditions, especially in the likes of Fermoy, which is a track we used to use back in the day, which had 4 separate grip levels on it, and it really made you think ahead and gave you a real ability to preempt conditions. I think it's not only the rain and conditions, though. There's a lot more to it than that. And we'll get to the second half of that answer just after this battle, because despite the rain here, guys, we are ready to go with our second semi-final. And yeah, I don't envy the lads here because the windscreens will be fogging up, visibility will be very low, and conditions will be absolutely crazy. These semi-slick tires are super grippy, Alan, but when they hit standing water, they're not great at clearing it. They're great in the wet even, but not for standing water, you'll agree.
Yeah.
So we have standing water here, guys, but it doesn't matter, we're going to send him in anyway. Davin Leahy, hard charging with the LS7 engine, leads in the Style King. Dean Byrne into the first corner. Leahy sends it in. Dean Byrne opting to give a little bit of a gap, doing the intelligent thing here, maybe seeing the conditions, seeing if his opponent makes a mistake before he does. He's going to want to really close up the gap here with some hard braking on the foot brake into 3 and 4, and he does exactly that. Starts to close the gap a little bit now, but Leahy's car is a very, very, very fast GT86 with super torque, and remember, no turbo lag here for Leahy. Naturally aspirated V8 power, 700 brake horsepower, LS7. It's a big advantage in these conditions. You think that the turbo cars will spool up real quick in the wet. It's kind of not that way. You have to sit them on the limiter quite a lot and use a lot of RPM because they can bog down quite a lot as they cross the line. And Alan Hines, a really good run there for the conditions.
Yeah, definitely so. I think you're dead right with Davin Leahy. Great job there in the lead run, and yeah, the naturally aspirated LS GT86 doing a great job. Obviously, as we've seen already today, Davin's doing a fantastic job all day today. And yeah, Dean Byrne in the 186, 2J. I think you might be on something with the natural aspiration versus the turbo stuff here, Mike, because you know Davin is super fast. And I mean, obviously, look, we've got tire pressures and everything that we could talk about with speeds and 2 different chassis. It's not like as if it's an S13 versus S13 or anything like that. We don't really know the differences here between these 2 chassis, but of course we do know the power plants and the drivers, and Davin just looks to be you know, adapting to this really slippy weather conditions super well. But we do know Dean can do a fantastic lead as a driver here in the rain.
So we're just hearing here, Alan Hines, that Davin Leahy is calling a 5-minute rule here. I'm not sure of the exact reason, but we will bring that to you according as we get that information. And Davin Leahy, of course, will get to the pits once the car is safely on jack stands, or once the bonnet is opened by a crew member. That's when his 5 minutes starts. The 5 minutes stops as soon as they leave their pit box. The thinking being that if you had to get back to the line within 5 minutes, you'd be speeding through the pits. There'd be bodies flying everywhere, people all over the paddock with broken legs and arms and everything. That'd be bad. So
I think so. I think it will be bad. Yeah.
So it's once you leave your pit box, basically, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. So I suppose back to the question there from Hannah. What makes Ireland so good? I don't know. Are we that good? But I think we're okay in terms of the European domestic championships. To be fair, we always have been, and we seem to have some of the best domestic exports in Europe, especially along with Poland, I guess. You'd agree? I mean, if we look at the Driftmaster series and internationally, obviously Norway has Asbo, and Lithuania actually is Odi Bakchis is originally Lithuanian, and you know you have the guys from Estonia there, and you've got loads.
You have a lot of nations, yes, of course.
But in terms of numbers,
if you look at capita for pro drivers, we certainly have the most by far. I know there's a lot of pro American drivers and all of that, but when it comes to actually pro Irish drivers that can compete at a high level, we by far have more per
capita,
population capita, 100%.
For a small country with way less than 10 million.
I think the reason for that is a multitude of reasons. I mean, if you look at different countries like the United Kingdom, they have so many other opportunities with motorsports, right? Like, you know, like Formula 1 and stuff like that. You know, we don't really have those same opportunities. And I think for a lot of the young kids growing up, I would focus on James Dean, and they want to become a James Dean or something like that, and they set their sights on that. The same with a lot of other nations in the past, like Brazil and stuff. They would have seen a lot of Ayrton Senna, and you see a lot of Brazilian talent come after Ayrton Senna. Maybe not to the same level as Senna, but certainly followed him in his footsteps because they were his, you know, hero.
Yeah.
So I think you have a lot of that going on.
Well,
and I think for the last 20 or so years, we have the same organisation, same rule set, same everything, and it's all very much as a community we work together to kind of work towards, you know, building the sport to be better than it can be. So I think that's what it is. It's just a lot of community driven stuff, and obviously, you know, knowing what we need to work on, driving super hard as possible, sharing information across teams and stuff like that, so we're all working together. And I think as a group of, as a nation of Ireland, we build ourselves up rather than as individuals, as small little people and stuff.
Yeah, good point. And you touched there, I think what you were trying to say was that drifting is an attainable sport in Ireland.
Yes.
And there is an end goal in Ireland for drifting. you know, if you are into single-seater racing, you can go as far as kind of Formula Sheen in Ireland, and you've got Mondello Park really, and maybe
Formula
Kirkstone
Boss
or
perhaps.
Formula Boss, yeah, and you can go to the maybe Nuts Corner, or I'm not sure does Kirkstone do anything, but it's basically Mondello for the south, and you've got nowhere else to go. You have to go to the UK then, so single-seater racing, while very cool, you know, it's limited, rallycross is
You have
limited.
to leave Ireland to be able to even chase it.
Yeah, rallying is fantastic, obviously, in Ireland, and can lead you to really great things. We saw the late Craig Breen there, and etc. You know, doing good stuff. Back to the days of Billy Coleman, back in the 80s, you know, Irish rally drivers have always, you know, progressed, and which leads me to my next point, in that I genuinely think that a lot of it is the roads that we have over here. If you're an enthusiastic driver, you're probably on the road since you're 17, 18 here, and quite a lot of the roads, including the route that I would have come down here today, are real back roads, and you know, you tend to just start to get a little feel for a car, you know, the undulations in a road and how a car reacts in little humps and bumps, and you know, once you get that tracked in, I think that's slightly inherently in us as country people in Ireland, and it's generally, apart from Luke Talley, you'll see it's all country boys and girls generally. Conor Falvey's over there, he's a bit of a city boy and he's not too bad, so he's definitely an exception to the rule, but overall I think we grew up in a motorsport in a car mad country, which has a lot of tight roads, and it's generally tends to breed drivers. Then you take that kind of inherent ability to control a car in us, you put it to a drift track, and you mix it with a sport which has been ran with the ethos about breeding young talent from the get-go, i.e. our Pro 2 junior and rookie classes. The juniors, of course, are 13 to 16 years of age. The rookies are first-time competitors, or competitors who have never qualified for a twin battle. Those championships are based on qualifying score alone. It gives them a chance to progress. It gives them a reason, you know, it gives them some trophies. Gives them a bit of hunger, it gives them a feel, it gives them the bloodlust for the trophies almost, you know. Then you go into Pro 2, the briefings by your dad, Kieran Hines, are always very technical. They're very good. And not that alone, and that's what started it all, but over the course of the years then we had the likes of Darren McNamara, who I have to see every day for my sins, whatever I did in my last life. But you know, you have Darren, who is an Irish drifting legend. He was a guy, obviously, who headed over to Formula Drift very early in the time after winning the Pro Drift Championship over here in 2006. That gave the drivers over here a little bit of a goal to head for. It gave us, you know, a top figure in the sport to see that a guy can go abroad, make a living, have a really good lifestyle out of driving with Falcon in Formula Drift. Correct. And I think then the sport started to become really lucrative at that stage. It was a little bit rock and roll. You had a good social life out of it, to be honest. I've had quite the life out of it at times, and you mix the fact that it's lucrative, it's affordable at entry level, and you have the judging system here and the track design which pushes drivers, and also our lack of tracks ends up to be a slight advantage in that we don't end up with the same layout all the time as per other countries. And just hearing here is Sean Healy slides his phone interview. You can come on live stream, Sean, it's fine. He's okay, he says. So Davin Lee, he has clutch issues, currently trying to bleed it. Thank you, Sean. So Davin Lee, he with clutch issues, guys, trying to bleed it in the 5-minute rule. That'll be crazy down the pits. We don't have a pit camera here because it's quite away from the track.
It is a bit of distance.
We did have it in Bishop's Court, but yeah, so bleeding the clutch going on. But yeah, all those things put together basically, in the fact that we don't have a lot of racetracks.
Yeah, I don't think there's a solid answer, to be honest. There's not one answer as the reason why. I think it's a combination of many things.
Yeah, a lot of things come together, and we're very passionate about the sport in this country. We push it quite hard, and obviously during the 2010s it was at its height, and we were having 150,000 people watching the live streams live and things. Since COVID, obviously, then the whole world took a little bit of a back step, and during that time Drift Masters became the premier European championship, which probably took over from IDC at the time. You know, the big sponsors went to Drift Masters, as they should have done, I guess, because it is the European Championship now. The big drivers went there, and IDS then picks up where we left off after COVID. And for all of us who left, like you went on to bigger championships European wise after winning it here, I took a break for a year, which ended up to be a break until the present day. And a lot of the guys who I came up driving with, Shane O'Sullivan, etc., and you know, James Dean has gone on to different things. The likes of Shane, the likes of Paul McCarthy, the likes of etc., have gone on to either maybe have a life, having some money eventually after being driving in pro. So for everybody who left the sport, there's been another young driver coming in just as good as us, hungry and hungrier, and with the family unit now behind them generally to help them through the sport. So I think overall, basically, it's in us as drivers, as Irish people, and then the organisation as a whole tends to breed young talent, and you put all that together and you give them the end goal of Drift Masters, and you end up with a country that produces talent over and over. It's perpetually producing, churning out talent, and that's the answer. Which could have taken 30 seconds, but I stretched it out to 20 minutes.
Nice, Mike. I think you outlasted the clutch bleeding.
I did, yeah. I mean, it took them.
The gap.
It took them less time to bleed Devon Lee's clutch than it did for me to answer one question on live stream. So my bad there, guys. Sorry. But Dean Carney, absolutely as well. Dean Carney and all these guys, yeah.
There's so many. There's so many.
So many.
You
will
forget 100%. You'll forget a few.
Eric O'Sullivan.
Eric O'Sullivan.
Yeah, absolutely. Loads of guys we could keep going. Yeah, Damien, exactly. And loads of the guys there going abroad and doing their thing from Ireland. As we're ready to rock, guys, for the second half of this semi-final. It is Dean Byrne to lead us in with Devon Leahy chasing, who hopefully has a clutch. Maybe looks like he just got out of the blocks a bit sideways there, but he's still in the chase here. Oh, big entry here from Leahy in the chase. It's much better than Byrne's entry, who did a little bit of a double initiation. Is Devon Leahy about to close the gap at the top of this championship, guys? Can he make his way into the final to face off against young Jack Caldwell? Oh, Byrne is all over the place. Alan Hines, it's all falling apart for both drivers here. They get back in the hunt here. Huge talking point for this semi-final battle, where Devon Leahy straightens up after Dean Byrne had a huge correction, but they're back in it. We'll dwell on that afterwards. They're back in the fight here. Dean Byrne drops it down the chute here, catches the grip. Look at the car accelerating as it goes downhill, swapping them back around. And wow, Alan Hines now Devon Leahy hits the left foot brake, but Alan Hines, that's the talking point.
Yeah, they're making my job hard for me, to be honest with you. I was hoping that this would be an easy one, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a lot of talking this one. Initiation from Dean Byrne, not the cleanest, not what we were expecting from him. Of course, he does collect it nicely. Devon Leahy does a great job down the back straight here. Does miss clip 2 as a chase driver, but does a nice big dive. As we see an over angle from Dean Byrne, and Devon Leahy pulls out of it. That's such a weird area there. I don't know how the judge is going to look at that. In fact, they're already looking at it by replaying it back. As we go back in time, as we see Devon Leahy had straightened up. So I wonder here, is it a case that maybe Davin thought he was going to spin out, but I don't really think Davin's close enough for that to really affect him. He does do a massive dive, so he has to do a big dive to gain the proximity back onto the door of Dean Byrne. As we see the transition here. And yeah, we see Dean start to over angle, he corrects it, and then Davin pulls out of it. So I don't know, is that two independent mistakes, or is that a mistake of Devon Leahy from the watching what Dean was doing in front of him? But we continue on here for the remainder of the run. The rest of this lead run looks pretty decent from Dean Byrne. In fairness, Devon Leahy does a collective of a chase run, and collects back up onto the door once again of Dean Byrne across the line. I mean,
yeah, very interesting. I have to get to one comment here in the live stream from Boxing This Lab. Rover SD1 wasn't even Flo supposed to be a grid girl in this round. I mean, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see Even Flo as a grid girl.
Who's Even Flo?
Even Flo.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Even Flo. We might save him for the championship finale, I'm not sure, but
that was one of the secrets for the final round. You blew that. Thanks. I'm joking.
So yeah, Kieran's back in the chat as well, saying he've no life for money, but yeah, Kieran, we look forward to seeing you back with your RB30 180SX at some stage. Kieran, the limiter stack Irish drifting legend, take a break from the judging to play COD with me, basically. He's seen less and less. I think he's busy in the garage building his car, but yeah, I have my old Oversaw there when I'm at home at night usually. So we're waiting for the result to drop in here, guys. Big championship implications for this one once again.
They're still trying to decide it too, of course. I'm sure it's a tight one because you have two independent mistakes, so the second half of this battle is not great to watch. We see the first half of the battle was really nice lead run from Devon Leahy. I can barely remember it now because it's been so long ago. I spent more on my brain trying to think of how to answer the question from Hannah. Apologies, Hannah, I don't mean to out you like that. But
yeah, as Charlene waits patiently with the flag there, wrapped up nicely in her high vis. It's
about 4 sizes too big for me.
It is, but she's dry anyway, that's the main thing. Maybe not the Adidas, they mightn't be dry, but we do have a winner, guys. Devon Leahy continues his championship charge, taking out a hard-charging Style King Dean Byrne on the way. And that means that Devon Leahy will now close the gap on both Dylan Garvey and significantly on Jakub Krzyszak. So this championship is now definitely a three-way battle after this round, Alan.
Yeah, so I think Davin at least closes the gap to Jakub Krzyszak and to Dylan Garvey, but we don't know by how much.
Well, we'll know after this round, because of course we will get the championship standings up on the Facebook and Instagram, and we'll get some cool reels up on TikTok as well. Well, reels are for Instagram. We'll get some cool TikToks up after this round, of course, as well, guys. And be sure to follow your favourite drivers as well as the Irish Drift Series. And you know, they'll always be putting up stuff on their builds and some cool videos as well. The Davies are very good at it, actually. They are, and young Jamie Hines and the guys always do some cool media stuff. So be sure to follow the drivers there. So that does mean that we are set for a third, fourth place playoff between Dean Byrne and Dylan Garvey, a double 180, and then Jack Caldwell, who has been unstoppable so far this weekend, winning qualifying and taking out some big hitters along the way, will meet Devon Leahy in the final with a combined age of 34, I'm going to say 33, 34.
I don't know.
Roughly.
I don't care.
Well, they're both just basically in school.
Really young? Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're both basically in school, so yeah, crazy stuff here. So the two guys in the final. It's getting romantic looking here, Alan, isn't it? It's kind of dark and romantic.
Yeah, but we can't do the same move. If it's going to get romantic, one of us has to do something else, like move-wise. And we're doing the same positioning right now.
The judges throw stuff at us.
Was that Elmo?
Elmo! Was it Elmo? Elmo. Flying Elmo here coming in at us in the commentary booth.
It was actually Tom Murphy that came flying over. Elmo was still there, it's just Tom Murphy.
Oh, was that Tom?
Yeah.
Was that Tom? Okay. Who was winning the final? Luke, post up. So I'm gonna put in my vote there. I'm not gonna tell you guys.
That's the wrong call in whatever you just picked.
Keep the questions coming there, guys, and we'll keep answering them if we can. Yeah, we'll answer them as well if we can. And yeah, a couple of guys wondering if you want to get driving as well in IDS, guys. It's not that difficult, to be honest. In the Pro 2 class, you can just grab yourself a BMW. You need a 328 or 330 ideally. A 325 will get you a little bit in, but you might need a 328 or 330. And yeah, once the car's up to spec, you can basically just join the championship when you are up to the level, and you can get straight into the rookie class and ply your trade here. And then next thing, you'll be taking on Alan Hines here at Drift Masters.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Be an awesome story. And I mean, I think that's a story for a lot of people. A story for myself that I wanted to achieve for many years. And we managed to make the Drift Masters season happen this year. Was super thankful for it. As yeah, it was a great couple of years.
Well, you know, we had a big wow.
What was that?
Elmo.
Oh, Elmo.
Elmo's rogue here.
I thought it was Kieran Hines' eyes popping up there for a second.
He's probably gone googly eyed from judging at this stage. Well, he's just after Elmo's. Wow, Elmo. Wow.
This is what I have to deal with all the time.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Elmo. Hi, Elmo.
We're supposed to get I thought today was supposed to be the more professional stream over the day.
Frog here. Oh, wow. So, yeah.
You have to do a good Daffy the Duck.
No, I won't. It'll kill me. I can do it, but it'll kill me. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. But I'm already hoarse after the weekend, after talking all weekend between last weekend in Poland, Alan, with you, and this weekend at IDS. My voice box is shot, I think. So yeah, keep the requests coming, as we say, DJing, but keep the shouts coming. Alan, we had a big interview with Conor Shanahan there a while ago.
Yeah, I heard it
during the halftime show. Had a good chat with him, kind of got under the skin. But you know, funnily enough, we have a Drift Masters driver judging, and we have one right here.
Yeah.
So we'll take this second before the cars come back out. What's it actually like driving in that series? I mean, get the official head off here now for a second. No official answers, but just, you know, what's it like as a human being? What's it like just being on that grid? And you actually told me in Poland last weekend as you were trying to kill my rental polo, not yours. I paid for the rental polo.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
You tried to kill it several times. You brought lights on in the dash and I wasn't happy with you, if you remember.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. You're making it sound way worse. All we do is just drive around the track, Mike.
Pulling the handbrake at about 60 miles an hour.
No, we were not doing that whatsoever.
Cut that off the live stream.
You weren't doing anything like that.
So, you know, we had a chat about it. You mentioned about being in the top 16 parade at the PGA in Navardova last year.
Yeah.
You look up at their, as my boy drops out, you look up at their national soccer stadium around, and what's that like? That must be absolutely an unbelievable life experience.
It's incredible. I was very fortunate last year to get that top 16, well, top 8 result actually in PGA. It was the first time driving the lucky AS15. Everything kind of went to plan for us. Like, we had incredible qualifying. Like, it was incredible, and I was super thankful for the experience. And I think, like, I would love to replicate it again this year. I think it'd be insane to be just kind of like set the season, you know, put the full stop at the end of the year. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it'd be insane to do it again. But just standing there, like, even just I've stood in front of a Drift Masters top 16 audience. That's incredible.
It is,
right?
In Mandela.
Or even Japfest or Drift Masters or even LZ World Tour. All of those. Incredible audience. I love the people of Ireland. I love this country.
I've done it myself in Mandela on the top 16. Crazy insane, experience.
But you know, unfortunately, I don't think 16,000 people or whatever can match 55,000 people
that are up above you,
all looking down at you. I mean, you can't even make out a single face, you know, when you're standing there on the track. So it's absolutely insane. So it's incredible. And so I suppose for me personally, it's all about, you know, enjoying the season, figuring out, you know, knowing that I have to develop myself as a driver, I have to change my driving for Drift Masters. We as a team have to learn so much. We're learning a new car that's new to us. Like, there's so many new factors, like transport, like there's so many things that as an Irish driver you would never have to learn or plan for. You don't have to think about leaving 7 days before the event to make it to Finland. You just think about leaving the Thursday night. So you set all of your plan to work in the car Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and you set it up on Thursday to leave for Friday morning or whatever. Drift Masters, you kind of need to plan for the next event before you even finish this event. You know what I'm saying? So it throws a huge spanner into the works. So it's an incredible experience. I enjoy the travelling to all the events. I drive myself with the van and trailer to the next round. I enjoy that part of it. I don't expect my team to do it because, of course, you know, they're taking their normal 9-to-5 working jobs away to help us out. And yeah, I don't know, I've just been living the dream, I suppose. So I've had to sacrifice my personal life here at home in Ireland. I've quit the job and everything to go at this, to try and go for it. I'm not making any money from it. I don't plan to make any money from it. I just want to enjoy it, live the dream, and see how long we can take it. And this year for us, I'm trying to see if we can definitely set our sights to do it again next year. That is the ultimate goal. But of course, this year, you know, to try and win it in year one, impossible. To even get a top 4 result, I think is impossible. I mean,
but the car's battled you a little bit up to this point.
It has a little bit, and I think that's the point of where you just need to dive headfirst into it to try and like learn as much as you can, make the changes. Every single round that we've done has been a new car, it's in a new track, it's a new venue, it's new people you have to deal with, you've new drivers you're battling. And I mean, I suppose on the plus side is you're going there knowing that every single driver there is going 10/10s. There's no one there taking it handy. It's not like you know, someone is taking it easy because they know they have to battle half won because their competitor doesn't have the same horsepower as them. Everyone has the same opportunities as everyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you don't take those extra 2 practice laps, someone else will. So you might as well take them too. And I think, you know, we're putting new pair of front tyres on the car every single event, sometimes twice per event, which some people here would do a full season of pair of front tyres. We're doing that every single day. We put a new pair of tyres on the front car.
Why is that?
Just because the tyre pickup is ridiculous. You don't want to be spending 20 minutes cleaning the tyre when you could spend that 20 minutes sitting in the queue, you know, getting ready for practice. Some teams are setting themselves in queue for practice an hour and a half before it even starts. That's unspoken of any other event in the world. So
ultra competitive.
Ultra competitive, and I mean, I love it. I love competition. I don't think I could be the person that could do track days or anything like that and just have a bit of crack. I have to have competition, and I think I just love it for that reason. And I don't regret any decision that we made this year. I don't regret not doing it or anything like that. I've loved every second of it, from the time that we leave the plane in the airport to the time I drive to the next event on the boat, the whole 30 hours on the ferries. I do not care. I enjoy every second of it.
Well, the championship is at such a high now. It's really taken its place in world drifting
Right,
over
yeah.
the last few years, you know, and I mean it's such an event, it's such a rolling circus in
Certainly.
itself. I mean, before, as we mentioned, before COVID, you know, it was still finding its feet. I drove in it myself and it came around several times, a couple of top fours in it, I think. Definitely one, if not two. And you know, at that time there was a lot of good drivers in it, but the tail off was quite strong. You know, the guys down
There
the
is no
bottom.
tail off here.
There's no tail off anymore.
No.
It's all good drivers.
It is
And
incredible. It
The
doesn't
wild
matter
cards
who-
as well are fantastic.
They're
who come in.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's much stronger than what it used to be 7-8 years ago. And
Yes.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's even going to be hard to get a license for next year. 100%.
Yeah.
You know, they dropped the licenses to 38ish this year, I think. And last year they had 44 or something like that, 45. So, I mean, are they going to cut it more for next year? Who knows? But it's besides the point. I think we've cemented ourselves. You know, that we deserve a license. It's just, you know, it's a lot of hard work. And I can't take off to look at their competitions. They do some amazing stuff for the drifting community here in Ireland. Like, they support drift games, they support myself obviously with their S15, and obviously, you know, with Drift Masters, but obviously they support here IDS, and so they're incredible partners to have. They just love drifting, and we can't thank them enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Great people behind the scenes as well.
certainly so.
And a couple of comments in there. Commentators, what's your thoughts on a Rover SD1 Vitesse drift car? Well, I'd love to see one. Something different anyway. You have the V8 already under there, and that would be a cool car. Kind of like the front of an R31 Skyline, isn't it? Or R32 hybrid there. So cool car, but we're ready to rock, guys. No time for chat. It is time for the third fourth place playoff between Dean Byrne and Dylan Garvey. Dylan Garvey looking for all important last few championship points. Look at this from Byrne. He's perfectly on the wall. Absolutely inch perfect stuff from Dean Byrne, the style king, as Dylan Garvey, a man who can match him in style and indeed can match him in proximity, now making the dive right onto the door around 3 and 4. Slow motion drifting here around the center section of the track as they really put the hammer down now in search of a little bit of a gap opening up. Dean Byrne will be looking for anyway, and Dylan Garvey sticking right there with him. Like you know what, to a blanket. He's not getting out of the way there, Alan Hines. Oh, almost takes the back bumper off of Byrne, and look at this. I'm caught for words here, which isn't my job, but what a run there from Dylan Garvey.
Yeah, fantastic. I noticed Dylan Garvey's put a smaller wheel on the back of that car to get even less tire pressure. And yeah, he was going to need to do that. I think Dean Byrne was looking really good in the lead run all the way, all day so far. But of course, look at the Fuel Lab 180SX, clinically perfect as a chase driver. I mean, it's incredible stuff that what Dylan Garvey is able to do in this machine of his. But Dean Byrne can't take anything away from it. His lead run is really good here in the rain, and I mean, it's one of those things that you're tit for tat. You know, you're trying to maximise your lead run and also trying to be as quick as possible. And I'm sure it's super tricky these conditions, but Dylan Garvey is really able to adapt to that lead run. And I mean, it's an incredible lead run from Dean Byrne, but Dylan Garvey is not scared of putting tyre on door with that incredible Fuel Lab 180SX.
Well, we swapped them around, and I think at this stage we have one of the most active chats of any drift championship in the world. I see Dave Richards in there. Big shout out to Dave, competing yesterday in his BMW, doing a great job.
He would have done class today.
He would have been great today. Dave was doing Dave was on Snapchat to me doing a rain dance in the pits there on Friday practice, but didn't get it at the time he needed it. We swapped him around after a great chase from young Garvey. Let's see if he can replicate it with a great lead, but Dean Byrne is right there with him in the 180SX. It's a double S chassis, double 180 battle. Look at this from both of the drivers. Once again, it's as you were from the first battle, almost mimicking each other, but now a little bit more of a gap opening up from Garvey to Byrne than there was in the reverse run. Oh, Garvey dials in the angle at the last second there, catching Byrne out. That will go down as a mistake, I think, from the lead car. Alan Hines, you'll agree?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, I mean, for the remainder of this run, I mean, Dylan Garvey's doing a great job here as he goes through 7, but of course Dean is just not able to really close the door at any point, and I don't know, like you mentioned, if it was because of the mistake from Dylan Garvey or not.
Yeah.
But he does collect it back onto the door once again, Mike, and
wow, it's an interesting run here from both drivers as they cross the line. And you know, I mean, Dylan Garvey has looked pretty much infallible once his car started working perfectly for him after round 1, but just a little bit of a mistake creeping in here around 4. You know, nothing really to write home about up to that point. He did open up a little bit of a gap. I think he had better proximity to Byrne up to this point, but it's here, Alan.
He did indeed, and there was a bit of a stab of angle there from Dylan Garvey. I think he was just repositioning the car back onto the correct line because he did there a bit shallow. But he does pull a bit of a gap of out of Dean Byrne, and I mean, it's hard to really know if the gap was caused because of the mistake that he made. You know what I'm saying? From the little angle alteration that he had to, you know, adjust to. But Dean Byrne does a great job for the final transition here. I mean, this is the type of chase driving that we do want to see, of course, from Dean Byrne, but it's just a little bit too late for him. But we don't know, is that going to be enough?
Well, we'll have a result dropping in from the judges. We will tell you if we have a result or not, and we will give you the result on the podium. And I'm told, guys, we do have a result for this battle, so we do have the result locked in, which means that we will be going straight to the final, and we'll be giving you the result of this one on the podium in about, I would say, hopefully about 10 minutes time, assuming we don't have it one more time.
Correct.
In the final. But we do have a result for this one. It is not going one more time. It is a result, and a very tight one to call at, but we'll give the result on the podium for this.
Yeah, definitely so. I think it'll be interesting to see which one it goes, but I think I have an inclination, but we'll see if I'm right later, which you won't know.
You can whisper it in my ear.
Probably could.
Sweet nothings.
Yeah, I could. I could mute it right here and I could tell you.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know anyway. I don't know anything.
I wouldn't tell you the right thing anyway. I'd tell you the wrong thing.
Well, it wouldn't be like us to be trying to catch each other up on commentary.
Well, Mike, I'll be wondering here, does Davin Leahy still having some issues with the clutch in that, or have they got it sorted? So we'll be interested to see how that works for him.
Well, there's, this car is fighting them every step of the way. Usually there's an issue. I mean, we heard that he did have to go and get a half shaft this morning from Fionn Roach, or from Jack Shanahan, actually, from Fionn's car possibly.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely one of the more difficult cars on the grid to maintain, that V8 engine, not a commonly seen thing here in Ireland.
I think it might be the only one today.
LS7.
I think it's the only LS this weekend.
Yeah, modern LS as well as seen, I think, in the Corvette, like CO6 generation, roughly, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like a C6 kind of like Grand Sport or something like that.
Yeah, the fast car, the fast
Z06. I think it's C6 Z06,
and the fast Camaros as well.
Yes,
basically,
yes, correct.
Yeah. So it is a modern LS engine. So a rare thing on Irish shore, still probably not so rare in America, but still rare over here. But guys, we are ready to rock here for the final at IDS round 4, Max Attack in Watergrasshill. It is the man of the moment. It is Jack Caldwell to lead in Davin Leahy, and Caldwell scrapes the back of the 180 off of the wall, and he's closely followed by his young counterpart Leahy in the GT86. Can Leahy make the dive here? He's right there with him. He's in the position. Does he make the dive? He's very straight, but he does indeed make the dive right onto the door of the young Strabane man, as now Caldwell puts the shoe down and absolutely catapults it over the straight. Despite the wet conditions, finds the traction, but he can't shake Leahy. Leahy's like butter on toast. He is like vinyl wrap on the bonnet here. He can't be shaken, and he's right on the door now of Caldwell. Look at the GT86. When he wants it to go forward, it just pops forwards, and Caldwell doing a great job in the lead position, but Leahy is right there with him. And you know what, for the conditions, Alan Hines, that is a run worthy of a final.
Yeah, well, I mean, by no means is Davin going to let Jack get away with this one. He's going to have to, push super hard in this chase run as Jack, if he wants to be able to pull this one to his side of the corner. But of course, Davin Leahy does a great job down the back straight here through clip point 2 and back onto the door once again here after the transition. And a little tap there on the door, but I don't think it affects anyone too badly, as Jack Caldwell powers up the middle straight here into hairpin number 2. Through clip 6 does he go, and he continues this incredible line he has through clip 7, right down through the middle of the chute, which is the perfect line through 8. I mean, this type of lead driving is insane to see at this level, especially with the weather conditions, should I say. And I mean, really opening up the door for Davin Leahy to chase super close, Mike.
So a combined age of 33 on the grid here, guys, for your final of IDS round 4. I said 33, a combined age between both drivers.
Earlier.
I said 34 earlier, but I was close. 33, and we are ready to rock with a combined age of 33 here, firing in their respective steeds over the hill backwards. Oh, does he hold it backwards from Davin Leahy? He holds it, and Jack Caldwell closes up the gap a little bit. Crazy stuff for a final. Absolutely no chill from Davin Leahy. That is nuts to attempt that in a final, but you know what? He just about pulled it off. Oh, and contact between both drivers. Big angle from Leahy, and Caldwell running into him, and once again conditions throwing up.
Well, I mean,
lots for the judges.
Jack lost him on the straight, so Davin gapped him down the straight, and then Davin drops 2 wheels on the outside zone 1, which then opens up the door for Jack to catch back up again. Jack, at this rate, didn't need to push this hard, in my opinion. Pushes a bit too hard in here, and
it's so hard.
God.
It's so hard.
I mean, the pole that's there really mistimes how it looks for us, to get me, because there could have been something there between that little 30 centimetre pole that we don't get to see.
Damn pole.
Damn it. Cut it down, David. I'm joking.
Brendan Burke tried that once. In
It didn't work.
No.
Okay, let's check this out. We need to see this in slow-mo, I think. Honestly, I think Davin was already looping it.
Do you think?
You see, he had a bit of a stabby transition there, and I think the car kind of like snapped.
Remember, definitely he drives on max angle all the time.
Yeah.
And pulls it off.
He does a great job doing it. You're dead right, Mike. So we don't want to say, send him home straight away.
No, send him home to his books, send him home with his tail between his legs, send him to detention.
Well, I mean, we won't be doing that anyway. It'll be the judges.
Right.
I mean, look at the transition from Jack Caldwell's incredible stuff.
I mean, Caldwell does hit the throttle at the same time.
He does.
He does, and
it's hard to watch both cars at the same time. Obviously, we won't see another replay of that now again, but the judges are going to be watching it like a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, they're going to be going through it very, very tightly. So, guys, as they get out of the cars here, can we get your appreciation? A round of applause for our finalists, Davin Leahy and Jack Caldwell. And they'll have a word about that once they shake hands. Great sportsmanship with the combined age of 33 on the grid. Crazy stuff to see in a final of IDS. And it's going to be a tight one for the judges. Did the lead driver over-rotate already, causing Caldwell to catch up to him, or did Caldwell just mistime the dive, hit the throttle, and accelerate into the lead car, who was actually going to make the corner? Alan, it's so close.
It is indeed, and the thing is, to remind people here, 2 wheels off is not a 0, right? 4 wheels off is a 0, so that would have been a big deduction. So it's all on that hairpin, the contact.
Well, I just got the knowing nod from Kieran Hines, guys, here, which does tell me that we do have a result here. The judges have made their decision, guys, which means that we will get down to the podium and we will give you the result down there in a couple of minutes' time. And it is going to be definitely a talking point from the final of this one. But ultimately, in the championship, Davin Leahy taking a big scalp out of Jakob Shishak in second position and taking a little bit out of Dylan Garvey as well in first position. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We will jump away from you for about 5 minutes as we get the podium out, get the champers out, get the trophies out, and get the Red Bull podium down on to the start line there, or not the start line, the finish line in fact. And guys, just once again, really quickly to tidy up, thank you so much to our sponsors, Lucky Day Competitions and Red Bull, for being our title sponsors of IDS this season, and also in conjunction with Strom Wheels, Kinda Tires, Drift Mafia, GMD Tire and Service Centre, Yugon Factory, Group D, Turn Distribution, Maxflow Motorsport, Exemplar, Airport Concierge, Exact Signs, and LexiBrake if you're looking for your IS 200 or 300 parts there. So thank you once again to all those sponsors. Be sure to support them should you need any of the parts or services that they supply. And we will get ourselves down on track right now for the podium celebration. So from the commentary booth from Alan Hines, Alan, I'll be taking it from here. You want to say bye-bye?
No, thank you so much for having me once again. And yeah, maybe there might be another time Adam Driver decides to go holidays somewhere.
To Ibiza or Malta or wherever.
And I'll replace him.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? It's
Until
been fun. It's been fun. So guys, join us in about 5 minutes time. We're going to grab the radio mics. We're going to go down, maybe grab a jacket, possibly, and we're going to go down to the podium here at IDS Round 4 Max Attack in Watergrasshill for the results and the podium celebrations. Give us 5. We'll be back with you. Thank you.
Og det viktigste med drifting, det er dekka. Det er eneste vi har som binder bilen til asfalten. Og akkurat som i all annen racing, så er dekka det som avgjør en seier eller en fiasko. Så da vi gikk til Kenda i år, så var det etter flere år med undersøkelser, med tester, med en vurdering av ikke bare hvor Kenda var da, men hvor de er på vei. Det har spilt seg ut ganske bra, kan du si, hittil i sesongen.
Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple back.
King of legacy, too ruthless, too transcend.
And we will get the celebrations underway as Sinead Hines gets out the champers and we get the checks ready and the trophies ready out of the back of the van. I do have the results in my back pocket, so we're ready to rock as soon as we get the podium and all the trophies ready to go here. So thank you once again, guys, for joining us here at a great weekend in Watergrasshill. Fantastic show of drifting in very, very difficult conditions with a tough track layout and wet to dry to wet again conditions, which have challenged drivers all weekend so much. But it's been a good one, and it's been definitely a technical layout which has definitely thrown up a couple of surprises and opened up the championship, I think, a little bit as well, both in Pro 2 and Pro. So as soon as I get the nod that we're underway, we can get to the results. So guys, we are good to go. We have trophies, we have the champers, and we have the drivers ready and present. So thank you once again, guys. It's been a great weekend drifting, and thank you for bearing the conditions and staying with us on the live stream as well and getting in the comments. Always entertaining at this stage. Great show for the comments. So I can announce, guys, in 4th position here at IDS Round 4 2026 Max Attack at Watergrasshill. Still in the championship hunt though, it's Dylan Garvey! Which means that the man who took down the Golden Boy is none other than the Style King. Let's give it up for Dean Byrne! What a battle that was, guys. Twin 180SX battle with huge style. And the champers is being gotten ready already here. No strangers to the podium, these fellas. So guys, we did see a crazy battle, and I think the thing to note is that the battle that we saw here for the final had a combined age of 33 in a pro-Irish battle, which is a crazy stat, and let that just sink in. 33 years of age, combined age between both drivers. What a battle it was, and a very technical one for the judges to decide who caused the contact there and exactly what happened. But the judges did come to a decision, and they were unanimous. And I can announce that in 2nd position at IDS Round 4 2026, let's hear a huge round of applause for the man who qualified in 1st position, finished in 2nd, is Jack Caldwell! And that leaves only one man, guys, to call out. I want to hear a huge round of applause for this fella. He's going great with the V8. Let's hear it for your winner. It's Davin Leahy!
Guys, once again, let's hear it for your top four. Dylan Garvey, Dean Byrne, Jack Caldwell, and your winner, Devin Leahy. Guys, we'll let the celebrations continue. Thank you so much once again for joining us at IDS Round 4 here in Watergrasshill. We're back here in Watergrasshill for Round 5 on the 3rd and 4th of October with an all-new layout once again, or a different layout at least, which will once again challenge drivers from Kieran Hines, all the IDS crew, myself, and the one and only Alan Hines on commentary. Thank you so much once again, guys. Over and out for us for a few weeks' time. Enjoy the break. We'll see you back on the 3rd and 4th in October.
Det viktigste med drifting, det er dekka. Det er eneste vi har som binder bilen til asfalten. Og akkurat som i all annen racing, så er dekka det som avgjør en seier eller en fiasko. Så da vi gikk til Kenda i år, så var det etter flere år med undersøkelser, med tester, med en vurdering av ikke bare hvor Kenda var da, men hvor de er på vei. Det har spilt seg ut ganske bra, kan du si, hittil i sesongen.
Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple back.
King of legacy, too ruthless to transcend.